Duck with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Watch out for slick spots during the morning drive Friday as overnight snow wraps up. Still could have some lingering flurries during the AM hours. Otherwise, expect mostly cloudy, breezy, and chilly conditions with highs in the low 30s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Dream Time Saving Traffic Center, the roads are slick in the Omaha Metro. We got a few accidents. One on the left shoulder of northbound JFK to the I-80, I-480 junction. One reported on eastbound I-80 near Giles, and the other one on 143rd in Giles. Give yourself plenty of time when you make your morning commute. Start expecting slow traffic on eastbound I-80 from I-680 to the I-480 JFK junction. Remember to be patient, buckle up, and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Zoom Drain.
Dealing with any type of plumbing issue can be overwhelming, especially if it's related to your drain or sewer lines. Thankfully, Zoom Drain specializes in drain and sewer services of all scopes. Contact Zoom Drain anytime by logging on to zoomdrain.com.
I'm Taylor Bisciotti with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. The 49ers have parted ways with defensive coordinator Steve Wilks after their Super Bowl 58 loss to the Chiefs. Wilks had been in San Francisco for just one season. Head coach Kyle Shanahan said, quote, "It was a really tough decision, but I felt pretty strongly that this was a decision that was best for the organization." The Chiefs announced defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo has signed a contract extension following the team's third Super Bowl victory in 5 seasons. The Chiefs' defense ranked second in points allowed and yards allowed during the 2023 regular season. The Bears released offensive lineman Cody Whitehair and safety Eddie Jackson Thursday, 2 of the longest tenured and high-profile players on the roster. Jackson was limited to 12 games due to a foot injury for the second straight year, and Whitehair, who spent his entire 8-year career in Chicago, played in all 17 games last season with 11 starts. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all 3 with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all 3 with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is your home for the big game. We're in the middle of the best time of the year of basketball season with meaningful games every night with 40 TVs and massive dual projectors. The games have never looked better. Pair that with their award-winning char-buffed wings and $7.99 Monday through Friday lunch specials. Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill has everything you need. 173rd and West Center Road, and for takeout, 162nd and Maple.
Woodhouse Hyundai offers a streamlined car buying experience tailored to you. With the most versatile lineup of sedans and SUVs like the Hyundai Elantra or Santa Fe. Plus, your choice of standard engines, plug-in hybrid, or fully electric vehicles. And when you shop Woodhouse Hyundai, you can rest easy with Hyundai Shopper Assurance, America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Start your deal online at woodhousehyundai.com today. Browse our inventory, personalize your payments, apply for financing, and more. Convenience delivered every time. This is Woodhouse Hyundai. Right now, lease the 2024 Hyundai Kona SE for $199 per month for 36 months and 10,000 miles per year. With approved credit, tax, title, license extra. First payment $2,999 down plus $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 2/29/24. See dealer for details.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accots, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Can I get a weight reading on the cat in exam 3?
Zuri needs a new vet tech after their current one literally moved to a farm. But finding an ideal replacement takes some training.
This is like herding cats.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The world's largest sports book in Las Vegas is available right at your fingertips in Iowa. The Circa Sports Iowa app is sports betting the way it should be. Bet anywhere in Iowa and experience high betting limits, tight money line splits, and exceptional customer service. Download your new bookie today. Visit circasports.com and start betting like a pro from anywhere in Iowa. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
Jordan B. Peterson, We Who Wrestle with God Tour.
If you say the truth and nothing else, you'll have an immense adventure as a consequence. You won't know what's going to happen to you, but the truth will reveal the world the way it's intended to be revealed, and the consequence for you will be that you'll have the adventure of your life.
Jordan B. Peterson, live at CHI Health Center, February 22nd. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Love Languages, presented by Fernando's. 1. Words of affirmation.
Your tacos are delicious.
Come and feel the love at Fernando's, 75th and Pacific, 114th and Dodge, and FernandosOmaha.com.
Roofing, siding, and gutters. Make the right call with the rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
1620 The Zone.
She's a 6'3" senior, and Clark knocks down another three-pointer from the MediaCom logo, and she's fouled. Count the basket. That's 17 already for the NCAA's all-time leading scorer. Clark comes off a screen three-pointer. Swish! Left to the top of the key, and there it is. 49 for Caitlin Clark. The single best scoring performance by an Iowa basketball player.
This is a place I, grew up loving, and people have supported me ever since, I was a young girl playing high school basketball in this state, and they always pushed me to achieve my dreams and supported me every step of the way. And I'm just grateful that I get to wear Iowa across my chest and represent this state that cares so much about women's athletics and women's basketball especially. And I got to live out my dream every day. Honestly, just go every day by day. Be thankful for the people around me. Get off my phone and soak in every single second of playing in an Iowa jersey. I'm just lucky. Honestly.
Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and 1620 The Zone TV. Now here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Iowa fans are funny. You hear that in the background after Caitlin Clark? That was a post game. She
can't be like MVP or anything. It's got to be one more year. It's
she
all about
scored 49 last night, and there's no better way for her to do it than hitting a logo three to break the record, and that happened quick. Those Iowa fans, man, they're funny. One more year. One more year. Is that what they're saying about Kirk? Like, hey, one more year. That's what the rest of the Big Ten was saying for Brian Ferentz.
Yes, they were.
One more year. One more year.
Or when they fired Brian Ferentz, they said, "Are you sure? Are you sure?"
Iowa fans, you make me laugh. One more year.
Got some news for them.
Cool moment though last night. I know that there's the older players in the women's game that have clamored for attention and coverage. And then when Caitlin Clark draws a larger audience into their sport. They complain about it.
Which is weird.
Man,
What do you
brothers and
want?
sisters, get off the block because it's a feel-good Friday. But I was, you know what? I'm glad. She almost went for a 50 burger last night.
Yep.
Let her have her flowers, man. She is the all-time women's basketball scoring leader. I do not remember, though, as much attention towards Plume when she set the record. I did not think we were hanging on every single game like we have done with Caitlin Clark, who now is the all-time scoring leader in the history of women's basketball, kind of.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Iowa City, bigger market than Seattle.
Excuse me?
That's the takeaway. Because Kelsey played in Seattle. Nobody paid attention.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know why more than anything.
People are. I don't get it. The old heads are. Come on, man. You want coverage. You want attention. Somebody brings coverage. Maybe you don't like your game or whatever, but people are covering women's basketball and people are watching. I imagine Peacock will announce today they had monster numbers last night. It actually, you know what? Hey, good on Nebraska. Give a clap to Nebraska because Nebraska did it right. They let her have her celebration in Iowa City.
They did.
Yeah. I mean, Nebraska would have ruined the thing last night if they would have allowed Caitlin Clark to go off in the fourth quarter. But Caitlin decided not to score against Nebraska on Sunday. Say, hey, I will score what she had, 23 in the first half or 23 in the first quarter, whatever she had.
Yeah.
There's an amazing number to last night to set the record. So, you know what? Nebraska did you guys a solid.
They did. They did Peacock a solid. They did the Iowa fans a solid. They did the Carver Hawkeye Arena ticket sales a solid, even though I'm assuming that they were going to get a good.
Yeah, they're sold out for the entire season. So.
Yeah, they were going to be okay just there anyway. But that there was that everything that happened. So once you get the ball and then they're able to take the timeout and they're able to kind of celebrate it a little bit. And then obviously they had more after the game as well. That would have been. It would have been just, I think, probably a pregame ceremony had she done it in Lincoln, as opposed to actually witnessing it happen at Carver Hawkeye Arena. And you didn't have, like you mentioned, you didn't have to wait long. It was like 2 minutes into the game, you'd have, then it was done.
Yeah, it worked out perfectly. You know what? Nebraska did their part. It worked out perfectly for Iowa. She set the record. She did it in the most Caitlin Clark way. She had a 35-footer from the logo, and then she has a big night, and actually it was like a really competitive game. So we got that out of the way. I'm not here for any business about chasing down Pistol Pete. That's a ridiculous argument. And if you want to come at me, I got some ammunition in the old holster. So welcome in.
Yeah,
I've come up with a...
just enjoy what happened last night.
Yeah, you know what? It's a celebration. Hey, the more we hate Karen of the Big Ten, the more we should embrace Caitlin Clark. That's my position.
There you go.
On this. Yeah,
I like that.
I also have a new position as we welcome in on a Feel Good Friday. It's in February. We got no football, so this is the first no football Friday Fiesta, but it's still a Feel Good Friday because we are upright, we are moving, and I have decided a hot take while I was walking in from the parking lot this morning, boys.
All right. All right.
Snow is stupid. There is no benefit to snow. Because if you're not sure what's going on outside, now we had a little bit of a dry slot.
All hail the dry slot.
Good use of it.
Hey,
way to be able to explain
sometimes,
that.
Nick, you get upset when you run into that dry slot. Well, we had it for a while, and then all of a sudden I got moist outside, and it started to snow, and so snow is on the ground. It's sticking.
Yeah.
You'll hear the traffic update. There's a couple of trouble spots in the area. But
you could do your live read right now.
We just had a vicious winter around here. I mean, it's been cold. We've gotten like 75 inches of snow, and then it just melts the next day.
Yeah.
My takeaway this morning is snow is stupid. I do not see any redeeming quality about snow unless you know how to ski.
Yeah, that's it.
Convince
That's all
me
it's good
that I'm
for.
wrong.
It's usually the snow that comes out of the machine as opposed to what comes from the sky.
Couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah. I have nothing to add to that because I was a huge fan of snow when I was growing up because it got us out of school. And then once you become an adult and you're gainfully employed and you, no matter what, well, I guess some people get to work from home or it's encouraged to work from home. But
what are you doing? Working for the state of Nebraska?
Yeah.
Whatever happened with that deal?
Pretty much everybody can,
I don't know, but it wasn't Pillin suing his own workers
for working from home.
Yeah, a little controversy after the first of the year.
Well, that doesn't.
Not sure if that got resolved or not. Because there are a lot of people I know that work for the state of Nebraska that like working from their kitchen.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't if you're going to give that option? I mean, it's
I don't like
it's
working in my kitchen, man. I hated COVID. I hated being in my house for 6 weeks doing a show. I needed to be out with the people.
Well, it does get a little old. When I had COVID, I remember I had to do like 3 shows from like my basement, and by the second one, I was ready to be like, okay, that was fun for the first day. Was able to go up and get coffee whenever the heck I wanted to, and whatnot. But now it's like, okay, yeah, I need to.
My intern did
but,
talk back.
But yeah, once you actually have to drive into it, and there's really no excuse, like, hey, you got to be at work, and it doesn't give you like days off from it. Yep, sorry, I lost all interest in snow. It just annoyed the crap out of me. And I've lived with snow all my life. And yes, I have changed my tune that if we found out for the next 10 years we wouldn't have snow, and I know I'm sure our farmers wouldn't like that.
You can have rain.
I'd be okay with that.
It's just as
good,
good,
yeah. I
if
mean,
not
you know,
better
we
than
could just be
snow.
mild, and we could have mild, and our precipitation would just be rain as opposed
I'm
to
not
snow.
anti-precip. I'm anti-snow.
There you go.
want you
Yes.
to have
Okay.
your
Yeah. I
precip.
think there's a good distinction. Thank you, Jimmy. Yeah. Yes.
This high level,
I'm pro precipitation, but
this
not
high
snow.
level quality take I had it before I moved to Florida. So now to come back,
You probably are even more pissed
I thought
off.
snow is stupid. I blame my parents for putting stakes in the Midwest. Why couldn't they have taken me to a warm weather place? But I've gotten over that. But snow is stupid, and today is just stupid snow. Like there's nothing nice about the snow that is outside right now. Now it's not going to be very much, and it's going to warm up, and so it'll be gone here quickly. But they're just like, today is just a pain in the butt.
Yeah, it's a nuisance.
Snow.
60s next week though.
I know.
See, they should label it. Like, I feel like more forecasters should call that.
John Sanders at Nebraska be calling up Bob Gates, and he'd be like, "Hey, can you bring the Mavs down to Buck Belzer to play a game?"
We'll be melted by noon.
Iowa did that. I saw yesterday. Iowa has added a game against Loris.
Oh, good.
Which is a.
You say Dolores?
Loris. They're in. They're not in Decorah.
No, that's Luther is in Decorah.
I've heard of Luther.
So I think they're still Division III. But it's going to be warm, so Rick Heller's like,
let's play a game.
Let's play.
That's
That's a John Sanders move.
Yeah.
Like, hey Bob, can you get the Mavs on the bus and come down here to Buck?
Back when Dana had a college, and
we'll play at 2. we got an AstroTurf infield.
We can do a grass outfield,
and it's going to be 55.
Yep.
That was back when they had no limits and you could play like 70, 75 baseball.
And they would too.
Oh.
Yeah, you'd have like midweeks, like chock full of like double headers on like a Tuesday and a Wednesday. It's like,
get a
Jesus.
couple boxes of vowels and come on
then
down.
you have a weekend series too. No, the forecasters, I think they should like characterize the snow. Maybe they will. Maybe they could use what you said, a pain in the butt. Just call it. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a pain in the butt.
Remember, I have a dump button if you want to say
It's
what
the best
you really
description.
feel.
Well, snow just always pisses me off. I don't care if there's like a little bit of it or a lot. It doesn't matter. It just pisses me off.
All right. This is a busy weekend, though. There's a lot of stuff going on, even though, February can be a little bit boring now that we're post Super Bowl.
It's almost over.
We have the Daytona 500 this weekend. We have the NBA All-Star Game. And we have 3 very, very important men's basketball games for Red, Blue, and Black Nebraska that we will discuss. Wilson Moore, who covers Nebraska for the Journal-Star and the World Herald. Does he get paid double time?
I hope so. Yeah.
Wilson's never been on 1620.
No.
This is a first.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Do we know if he'll be a good radio guest?
I don't know. I was thinking about so Mike Schaefer in his normal 9:00 slot is obviously
he's busy
tending to the newborn. Congrats to the Schaefers, by the way. And so we've got
that was pretty cool, by the way. His son Hudson looks exactly like his late dad.
Yes,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, especially the first like pictures of like his face, kind of like that. Yeah, it was good.
Now, by the way, Hudson James Schaefer now a week old.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday!
Yeah, Hudson was on made our top 5 as far as names too. Yeah, so I don't know, had we named
after
our
Tim
son
Hudson?
Named after the former Purdue quarterback.
Yeah, yes.
Is Hudson Card still there?
Hudson Card is. That's a good question. Yeah.
Former.
Can you say former Texas quarterback?
Former
Hudson Card.
Cardinal quarterback Dakota Hudson.
Trying to think of all the great Hudsons.
Kate Hudson, in case you get a boy or a girl.
You could have a Kate Hudson.
What if you had twins and you had a boy and a girl? Would you name them Kate Hudson?
Or you just name them famous Hudsons. You have a Tim and a Kate Hudson.
And I tried so hard to get the names out of shape. He was pretty. He was locked down.
That's a
Vikings
thing.
Great.
That's a thing that it's amazing. Like the amount of like secrets that we can't keep. That was one that we were very good with.
Oh, that his wife was pregnant? No,
not that one.
Couldn't keep that a secret.
No, not that one. But when it comes to the names,
Shelby, man. By the way, the family's doing well.
Yeah, that is great. But again, Schaefer is always on with us at 9. So we're going to talk some basketball with our guy there. So
backup quarterback.
All right. So Wilson will come up at 8:30. I'm sure this is just a monumental moment for him to be on 1620.
Well, he's podcasting at 9, so we're gonna warm him up at 8:30.
We'll get him a football.
He loves basketball. So I mean, the World Hill is very fortunate. They got two guys, and Wilson that covers Nebraska, and then John that covers Creighton. Love the sport. Also, Matt Verzal will stop by coming up at 9:20. That is the lineup brought to you by the Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard. As I mentioned, a lot of basketball. State wrestling is in day number 2. So I popped in to state wrestling yesterday. If you have like sensory overload, that is not the place to be. So I slipped in because I wanted to check in on a couple of wrestlers and friends of mine that have their sons or daughters that are wrestling. And I said, yeah, I'll come down and support. Busy day. We had Omaha men's basketball last night. Nice win over South Dakota.
Yep.
That is so much sensory overload because I sat up in the 200 level, and there is so much, not when the actual matches are going on, but before they have clear the mats, it is like all different colors.
Yeah.
There are wrestlers everywhere. There is all kinds of movement. It's absolutely bonkers to have the up high view of wrestlers warming up, and you got all the mats and you got all this noise, and you're like, oh my God. But it continues. And I was there just for a brief time yesterday. Man, it continues to hit a home run for the NSA. I know they had some ticket issues. There's some space issues. Sometimes there's some warm-up issues. But, man, the presentation of that event, that just keeps hitting a home run year after year. And in the past, the Friday nights have almost been better than the Parade of Champions and the championship just because of they used to not seed, so you'd have great matchups. And the semifinals are tonight, which are always a must-watch ahead of the Parade of Champions. But good on the NSA. I think I repeat this every Friday morning after that starts. They do that event really well. But I was like, just watching yesterday afternoon, I was like, whoa. I mean, there's colors, there's people moving, there's all kinds of noise.
Yeah.
I'm like, ah.
I was always curious, and I've never asked this question. So when I first started covering it, and there would be a time that I knew a bunch of the guys that worked at the Clink back then. And so I'd go up in the video control room and kind of hang out there. So I would kind of see it from a similar vantage point as you at times. And I always want to know, how does particular high schools get their mat there? Like, how do they get selected? Like, hey, you get to bring your mat. Your mat, it will be at the state tournament too.
Because it's pretty?
Well, it's just like different colors, but I mean, there's like no rhyme or reason for it. Like you just have like these different colors, and you'll see different high schools on those mats. And I don't know how you get in the selection.
Papillion La Vista, their mat is there. I'm not sure how that works out.
I've always wondered.
They're not the easiest to transport.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's not like,
you throw it in Bob's flatbed.
You say to 2 men in a truck, can you go pick up the wrestling mat over at Papillion La Vista?
Right.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah. I always wanted to know that. And then you're right, as far as and this was the cool thing when they did the Parade of Champions, but then they also transitioned into like the entrances for the championship rounds.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool, because before they would just, it'd be like, all right, Gary Sharp, Jimmy Chavez, you're on mat, whatever. And there you went. But now they have like that cool entrance that you kind of saw make popular when college national championships started doing it. So they've really, they've bolstered that whole scene, especially as you get into Saturday. And that was kind of cool to see it on the first time, because I remember they were talking about it so much. The NSA was talking about, yeah, you're really going to love this. And even some of the coaches like, yeah, we're really kind of psyched to see what this looks like. And then to see like the arena go dark and then have the spotlight on each wrestler as they make their way to the mat. That was really, and you could see the kids were kind of geeked out. So when you think of we talk about this with the NCAA, but the NSAA or any of the state's sort of high school governing bodies, when they're trying to enhance the student athlete experience, like from that example right there, that's a great one of how they've done that for the individuals involved in that.
Iowa JD, who was in Sioux City yesterday at the Milwaukee Wiener House.
Saw the
downtown
picture,
Sioux City, right there by the Hard Rock Hotel. It says Friday night, the semis and consolation finals are the absolute greatest night in all of high school sports. Well, that is quite the statement at 6:25 on a Friday morning. Not even close. 20,000 people in the Chai, and that place is absolutely going nuts.
That's almost as bold a statement as
semifinal Friday is pretty cool. Now, again, they've seeded in the state wrestling this year, so you would have you'd have a lot of times where the Friday night matchup, essentially the two semifinals were the state championship match.
Yeah.
One of those would be, but they reseeded, and so I'll see how that plays out tomorrow. But he's right. The semifinals on Friday night in that building, that is pretty dang electric. So good luck to everybody that is competing because it is a heck of an event. From the fans to the coaches to the staff to the athletes. If you haven't been, I keep telling people that I should get paid by the NSA to promote this. If you have not been, try and scalp a ticket and go watch, because I think there's only standing room only left for tonight.
Yeah. One thing too.
Showtime will be outside of the chai trying to hook you up. I haven't even looked. I wonder if you can go on ticketsforless.com and they have tickets available. Because I think the face value is only like $7 and $10.
Well, yeah, it's like it's still an NSA event, so it's going to be affordable. The other cool thing about Thursday, and you'll probably see it also earlier today, and this was when we would be able to sit on press row, and I actually went with Shafe a few times too when he was in Columbus, but that thing spans from one end of the mats to the other end. You could be situated in the middle, to the right, to the left, or whatever. You might be focusing on just like one match, and maybe they're just getting ready to start, and all of a sudden, like behind you to your right, you're hearing like this loud roar, and all of a sudden you kind of look over your shoulder and you just see this pocket of fans because they're clued in on one of the other mats and one of the other matches that's going on. And it's just cool. And it's like you can always tell who the parents of the wrestler is too, because they're basically doing the same moves in their seat as well. It's just the emotion and just the overall like anticipation for that. It is cool. And it's in different waves, because again, you might be, and you're watching something else and then something else is going on too. It's nonstop. It's constant. And it's quite a sight. It is.
So again, my high school was okay in wrestling.
Mine was bad.
We had a couple of state champs, and I mean, Iowa does it really, really well. I went out for wrestling for 2 days.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, and
It wasn't built for me.
Said 2 days.
Yeah. I also I had the fear of cauliflower ear.
Yeah.
And so
it's a real thing.
Yeah. But to be honest, I was a wimp and I could not handle being a wrestler. So they were probably better off with me not wrestling. But this is what I wanted to do. I told you guys I wanted to be, I was a fill-in PA guy.
Yeah.
I also wanted to be the person, so also I give credit to the officials that officiate wrestling. I wanted to be at the end of the period.
Oh, the towel?
You run out with the towel.
Yeah.
And you whack the official on the butt.
Yeah.
I wanted to be that guy.
The towel slapper.
But for some reason, Urbandale High School would only have females that would do that.
Yeah, it's usually students. Every time I ever saw.
I was a student. I didn't have the.
Oh, so you guys were like
the card girls.
There was it wasn't equality there.
Wrestling's big in Iowa, my friend.
So why just females?
Dan Gable lives in every hallway of every school in Iowa.
Why was it just females? I'm really curious about this.
Ratings, Nick.
You know what? Actually, now that I think about it, it was females.
Well, probably because they get jabronis like myself that would be like, I'm going to just tee it up and I'm going to drill head official. I'm going to miss his back, boom, and I'm going to knock him in the head.
You're gonna put the hand down on the mat. Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, it was females when I saw high school wrestling too.
Yeah,
I don't think I ever saw a male student doing that. I don't get that. Again, I need to know why that's the case, and I need to know how you get your mat selected for the state wrestling championships.
We will because there might be a villain at the state wrestling tournament.
Like a villain.
I don't know that everybody likes this villain. Everything is not great at the state
Peterson.
wrestling. No, he is not wrestling. But if he was, there would be 1.9 million people lined up to just body slam that clown.
There'd be a lot of qualifiers there.
You can always join the conversation of anything, all the debauchery that I am going to spew on this Friday morning, or the sensible Nick, or Jimmy's historical look at life. On the 42-degree The Source hotline.
Fantastic description.
951-1620. It's a free call. Yeah, we'll pick up the charges.
Toll free.
You can also email us into the Equitable Bank inbox, where Doug and the whole gang. I need to learn to somebody else that's not named Doug that works at Equitable Bank. I know Doug runs the place. He's the big man on campus. We got to find out another name.
Yeah, who's his defensive coordinator?
So when I say, hey, Doug from Equitable Bank, we need to have like Kurt.
Yeah,
Kurt's a part-time teller that only can work on Saturdays because he's going to school to finish his law degree.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Or
so,
maybe Jane. Maybe a Jane.
But 2 convenient locations in Omaha. Maybe near an NHL arena. Gary at 1620thezone.com.
Handley 1620thezone.
Or on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at Gary Sharp 1620.
At Nick Handley 1620.
All right, let's start the morning in the home of the Baltimore. Is this? I think I know who this is.
I think it is.
Yeah. Why'd you put Sarasota?
Because it's what he told me.
Maybe he's vacationing.
No. The the spring training home of the Baltimore Orioles. Hello, Dave.
Hi.
Oh.
I'm calling you from Saudi, Sarasota.
Yes, you know what? We haven't talked to you in a while, Dave. I think it's been football season. Yeah.
I heard last night on ESPN, and I had to listen to it twice, but they said Caitlin Clark's NIL package next year could be in the area of $800,000.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would think that that's probably very reasonable.
I mean, hell, she might as well stay another year and get the $800,000 and then go pro.
Yeah, that's a discussion that is going on. Would she be better off in staying in Iowa City? She might be just ready to move on. But yeah, she's got her earning potential in 1 year in Iowa City is greater than her earning potential in her first year in the WNBA, which is not a good look for the WNBA. Yep.
And then secondly, I wanted to know, Jordy Ball, they pulled her from a game last week with a knee. Is it a serious knee problem?
Yeah. Unfortunately, Dave, she is done for the year. She tore her ACL.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying. She has already said she will be back next year, and they will try and get her a medical hardship for 2026. But yeah, it's a major bummer. Only a couple of innings into the season.
Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. What does Nebraska's baseball team look like?
We were talking about this yesterday. We'll find out very fast.
There's not a lot of expectations, Dave. They are preseason fifth. There's a lot of unknown. It's probably going to be 4 or 5 weeks before we really know how good they are.
Yeah. Well, I won't take any more time.
No problem. Hey, Dave, I appreciate the call outside of football season, and as you know, we've had this discussion before. As a Southwest Florida guy, I love the city that you are in Sarasota.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
All right.
I'll tell you the one thing I've noticed down here. Sarasota's not near as big as Lincoln or Omaha, but you would not believe the car pedestrians and the car bicycle accidents.
Yeah. Hey, especially during season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those snowbirds, they come down to Florida and they just wreck things.
Well, last fall up on I think it was on Fruitville, they had 2 hit and runs within a mile of each other in like 15 minutes, and they left them.
Ooh.
They hit two pedestrians, bang, and then about a mile away they hit another one. Jeez. I don't know if it's the same car or not, but it's just, of course, you got a lot of retirees down here.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Dave, we appreciate the phone call. Have a great weekend.
All right, take care.
Shout out Siesta Beach. You're in Sarasota. They got good food there. You might be in an Italian place right in downtown Sarasota, and Dick Vitale is there.
Okay.
Dick Vitale lives in Lakewood Ranch, which is not very far from Sarasota, but Sarasota is a beautiful community right there on the Gulf between Fort Myers and Tampa St. Pete.
So this is a different Dave?
Siesta Key. Yeah.
Okay,
that's
what I
Dave
thought.
in Southwest Florida. Dave is a big Husker football fan, so he usually calls during Big Red Overreaction.
Mm-hmm. I'd recognize the voice.
But, I was going to say, because I know Dave in Florida.
I know we get a couple Florida callers here.
He's probably like, hey, snow is stupid.
Yeah. He would agree with that. That's why he's there and we're here.
I agree with that.
He did something about it. We haven't.
I'm not there.
We will also, he brought up baseball. Today is the opening day of college baseball.
Yeah, that's why I wore skinny end today.
All you gamblers out there, money. College baseball is money. College baseball is like a Caitlin Clark layup. Some people try to make it a reverse layup. Don't overthink college baseball in terms of betting. College baseball is here. The road to Omaha begins. Just not as big probably here on opening day of college baseball as it is elsewhere.
No.
I don't think college baseball is a big opening day is not a huge deal in this town that houses the College World Series.
No.
Not a hot take, just my belief.
No, it's true.
Because of the weather, we're not, every team opens up on the road.
Right.
You probably don't get dialed into college baseball with your local team for a couple of weeks until they come back home and they play their first home game. But everybody else is like celebrating the road to Omaha.
Yeah.
The SEC.
SEC schools, they're,
Or is
you're
this
gonna
that
get some coverage on it.
apartments in left field? Ole Miss?
No, Mississippi
State.
Mississippi State.
Duty Noble.
Yeah.
Oh, no, Ole Miss has the beer showers in the outfield.
Yes, they do. All right, 36 past the hour. We'll talk some basketball. We'll talk some baseball. We got a big weekend. You're watching the Daytona 500 or the NBA All-Star Game.
I remember that.
I'm a big fantasy draft for NASCAR coming up later this afternoon. I'm a big no. I like NASCAR.
Yeah, I know.
But I my fantasy league, I'm like pretty competitive.
I just love that you have a fantasy league.
Hey, I'm in it to win it. I hope I either get Blaney or Bell.
Okay. Just how does a NASCAR fantasy draft work, by the way? Is it very similar
It's
to
a snake draft?
Okay, so it's very similar to
Yeah.
what you do with your fantasy football draft.
And you root for your guy to win.
Well, sure. But like how does it work, like if your guy doesn't win but you're like top 5 finisher?
Yeah, there's like tiered. You have a team.
Okay.
And so you set your lineup for all the races.
I started doing golf fantasy like a few years ago. Again, during this time of the year, it kind of keeps you interested in some of the spring sports and stuff like that. But I have heard, you're not the first one I've heard that does a fantasy NASCAR league. It's just I'm very interested. I'd almost like to. Do you mind if I just sit in on the draft? Can I just conference in? I just want to hear it.
Sure, we'll zoom.
Yeah, can I just zoom in?
It goes pretty quick.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not a lot.
Just like
strategy.
NASCAR, it should. Just like the race, just like the car.
Yeah.
Well, the races actually don't go that fast. Free today. Those cars drive fast.
I wonder which event will have better ratings.
That's a good
NASCAR on
question.
Fox or the NBA All-Star Game, which they've tinkered with the format again.
Mm-hmm.
Back
I'm
to
still
normal
gonna
format.
slant towards the NBA All-Star Game.
I'm just going to go on record and say, man, I can't believe they're not playing defense. It's mornings with Sharp and Handley and Jimmy at 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620 The Zone.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Put your coffee department in good hands with Host Coffee Service, providing direct delivery and loaned coffee equipment with service programs. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Hey guys, it's Nick for Hims. Look, as guys sometimes following our favorite sports teams, we like stats, we like facts. How about this? 52% of men over 40 experience some form of ED, and male pattern hair loss affects 50% of men by the age of 50. What can you do with those stats? Well, especially if it affects you, you can actually do something about it. Those are facts, because Hims can help you upgrade your daily routines with prescription treatments that can make a big difference and help you regain your confidence, help you feel like yourself again. Hims treatments fit seamlessly into your everyday routine. So once you get treatment, taking care of your health problems is surprisingly simple. And since it's all online, that means no doctor's offices and no pharmacies, just solutions that can bring real results. Hims has helped millions of guys just like you get help for their health problems. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/start. That's hims.com/start for your free online visit. HIMS.com/START.
Can I get a weight reading on the cat in exam 3?
Zuri needs a new vet tech after their current one literally moved to a farm.
Snap-to-tail checkup is waiting.
But finding an ideal replacement takes some training.
This is like herding cats.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-313-6688. That's 800-313-6688.
Love Languages, presented by Fernando's. 2 acts of service.
I made you tacos.
Come and feel the love at Fernando's, 75th and Pacific, 114th and Dodge, and FernandosOmaha.com.
Woodhouse Buick is bringing you more for the new year. With every new Buick purchase from Woodhouse, we're including 3 years of scheduled maintenance. Plus, with our current lease offers going on now, you'll save even more. Save up to $5,000 off MSRP plus 0.9% APR for 36 months on the 2023 Buick Envision Essence all-wheel drive. With approved credit, must finance with GM Financial. $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires March 4th, 2024. See dealer for details.
Hi, this is Stacey McElligott, Director of Sales for NRG Media Omaha. NRG Media is looking for an accomplished bilingual new business development salesperson who wants to take their success and skills to the next level. Is this you? Our multimedia account executives work with local businesses to create marketing plans to help them get more customers. On air, digital, on site, audio, video, it's all part of what you could sell. A sales career with NRG Media lets you make a real difference in our community. Get more info and apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
It happened early last night. Caitlin Clark setting the all-time women's scoring record. They forget about Lynette Woodard, but back in the day in the 70s, the KU great who went on to play for the Harlem Globetrotters. They didn't recognize women's sports, so her stats are not included now.
She was a badass,
Yeah,
too.
she had 3,649 points. Now, Clark will pass her, but no one ever mentions her.
Lynette had no threes.
Yeah, but they just didn't recognize women's sports back then in the 70s. So last night, Caitlin Clark breaks the record. She goes 49. She had 13 assists. She broke it early. A great tweet, and this is a great follow, and he is a legend over in Iowa. Cyclone Larry.
Oh, yeah.
Cyclone Larry,
Him.
it's 69. He's funny, and he riles up his own fan base and then, of course, Iowa fans. His tweet last night, because I saw it during the middle of the game I was doing.
Yeah.
I LOL'd. The biggest moment of Brock Purdy's career was the most watched television event in history. The biggest moment of Caitlin Clark's career was stuck behind a paywall of a second-tier streaming service. They are not the same.
He's good. He gets into it with my K-State friends, so I like Larry.
I do like that. That's pretty good.
CC is real. Last 36 games, she's averaging a 32. She set the record, and more Caitlin Clark, less Karen Bluder.
Didn't that make it better too last night? She not only breaks the record, but she has a career high and a Carver Hawkeye.
Dude, she was
like, I mean, that was
she was on one. She could have. I mean, she could have had 50.
Yeah,
she couldn't have broke the record by a dunk.
Ooh, see, there was a prop for that, by the way.
All right, I threw out the bat signal, and old man Doug called this up. Good morning.
Good morning.
Give me a name of one of your employees.
Well, I'll give you one that listens, and he gets here about 7:30.
Okay.
My mortgage manager, Joe Dobrovoni. I say Joe knows mortgages, and he's been with us for 25 years.
Hey, there we go. Joe knows mortgages. Nice. We can just throw that out there.
All right.
How's the hip, Doug?
95%.
Nice.
95%. I got on the elliptical last night for 10 minutes, which is obviously not impact. So
still,
hey, I want to touch on comparing and recency bias and whatever. So, I mean, really, Caitlin Clark's a hell of a player, and actually, I'm more impressed with her passing and ball handling almost than I am her scoring.
Yep.
But I was reading the World Herald this morning, and it was like all of a sudden we hear about this Lynette Woodard, and she's got, a record, and I can't believe they don't recognize what she's done. But what triggered me was when they were on the Big Ten Network, they're comparing her to Pistol Pete and the guy that was with 3 points of Pistol Pete. So, here's the deal. They're playing more games. They didn't have a 3-point shot when Pistol Pete played. I mean, and I'm not saying Pistol Pete's the greatest player of all time. I'm just saying his record, some of this in the fifth year with the COVID thing, which you love it if it's your player, you hate it if it's somebody else's player. You're like tired of them beating you or lighting you up like I'm sure people are tired of Caitlin Clark lighting them up, although the athletic departments enjoy selling out their arena when she comes. But this recency bias just kills me. And men and women should not be compared when it comes to records of any kind. There's different sports, there's a reason there's men and women. What track records would you put them all in the same on a track record? You wouldn't. So give her props. She's probably the best or in the top 3 to ever play women's basketball. And she's a hell of a superstar. She's a hell of a draw. And then again, another peacock thing. And I will not get peacock. I don't care if I have to miss a game. I am not going to be forced into one of these bait and switch type things. And that's what it is. The streaming is getting so fragmented, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There you go.
But it isn't going anywhere, Doug. You know that.
So for all you youngins, get off my front porch.
Hey, thanks for the call. Have a good weekend, and give Joe a fist pound for us for listening.
Will do.
Mortgage guy.
Joe knows mortgages.
All right, so there's a lot in there, and I want to start. So he brought up something, and people that know, old man Doug is a J-sker. He's actually got a gold-plated card that gets you a discount at McDonald's. They give those out.
Even when there's not a Big Mac sack.
Or you get to go to Wendy's and you get the new cinnamon pull aparts, which they are introducing today.
I'm listening.
For breakfast. Yeah. I just went up to a size 42 pant.
Which one of you guys said that Wendy's breakfast does it okay? I thought one of you guys said
we
that.
both did.
Okay.
I know.
I've been
I don't think I've dabbled with Wendy's breakfast.
Yeah.
That's good.
They've presented it in a way that I've been meaning to.
Dave Thomas never steered us wrong.
So a couple of things here in what Doug said about stats. And diehard Creighton guy. Baylor Shireman. Are we triggered by Shireman's 2,000 points because he took advantage of the COVID year and he's in his 5th year?
I'm not.
I mean, Summit League has 2 guys that are in their 6th year. The leading scorer in America is in his 6th year of college basketball. And they're like, wow, look at all these. He's going to set the all-time played 6 years of basketball.
Yeah.
So Shireman has played 5 years. Now his 2 years at Creighton, so he's at 18.3, and he's one of the top 3 candidates to be the Big East Player of the Year. And if he plays, I don't know, all 5 years at Creighton, I mean, I doubt he would have been here through 5. He would have gone on to pursue a professional career. But this is a conversation to be had when we're starting to compare records and put in record book. Do you have to put an asterisk? Hey, we had this thing for those people that are going to pick up your media guide out in the cloud in 40 years.
Right.
They're going to go, wow, that's a lot of points. You have to put an asterisk and go, well, there was this thing called COVID, and so student athletes got an extra year. So their stats are going to be a little bit skewed. So don't ever try and compare across the board all these stats, because all stats and all careers are not created equal.
I think that is true. And I think that even despite even an asterisk, if you want to put in parentheses 5 years as opposed to a 4-year career, I think that's an okay distinction. Now, if I think of using Baylor Shireman as the example, I would like to think that if he played 4 years at Creighton or even 3 years at Creighton, that what he's been able to do in evolving his game, I think would still lead him to something very similar. Now, again, though, you can't dismiss the competition that he had in the Summit League compared to what he has in the Big East. I mean, there's a distinction there. I mean, that's not to take anything away from him, but that is true. I mean, that's the reality. So should there be some type of clarity when it comes to somebody who plays a 5th year? I think it's okay. And I don't necessarily think it's a knock on somebody from the standpoint of we're trying to drag them down because they took advantage of something that was available to them. Good on them. And they make the most out of it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I do think when we are comparing to traditional 4-year runs compared to someone who got to play 5 years or someone who, switched from a mid or low major to then a Power 6 program and had success there, the bottom line is they still had success at that Power 6 program.
So do we change our opinion if Caitlin Clark comes back for another year because she does have the COVID year available?
For me, the point total, at the end of this year should be the point total.
Okay, it will not if she comes back.
Right.
Okay. You can't compare stats, okay? Just use your eyeballs. Are they a good player? Yes.
Right.
Baylor Shireman
We
a
get
very
wrapped
good
up
player?
into that.
Yes.
You're right.
Is Caitlin Clark a great player? Yes.
That's pretty much what I
This
think.
is where I'm really and Iowa fans, man, you humor me. Okay? You want her to stay for one more year? What? Because the athletic department needs some cash? Stop. Anybody out there comparing her to Pete Maravich? You want to compare stats? We're talking about men and women in college athletics that get an extra year so they can play 5 years of sports. They can play 6 years of sports because maybe they had a medical thing during that stretch. Let's stop trying to compare numbers to Pete Maravich. Pete Maravich was not allowed to play as a freshman at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
Pete Maravich played 3 years of college basketball. 3 years. And he has the numbers that he had in those 3 years, averaged 44.2 points per game in his college career at LSU. And the only flop that he had was his hair. So let's don't compare here. Your eyeballs can say, are they good or not?
Yeah.
And you can do it without the stats.
Yeah, 100%.
But it is kind of, this is the NCAA. Remember when they reversed course and they started to include bowl stats?
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's some guys that would have some big numbers added to their total if you did it for everybody.
Yep.
Just like if you looked at, whether it be in baseball, the great Negro League players, including them in all-time stats, or women that were playing before the NCAA cared about women's athletics and incorporated their stats a la a Lynette Woodard, who I'm glad her name's being brought up. She's an incredible player at KU. Some might only know her as, oh, man, gosh, a female that played with the Harlem Globetrotters.
Yeah.
There's a reason she did.
Right. Especially in that time, too. I like the point you bring up, though, about as a society, and especially on a night like yesterday, we get wrapped up in the number, and then there was the Cheryl Swoops. She was completely off of her facts when she was criticizing Caitlin Clark and doing it in the COVID year, thinking that this was the COVID year for Caitlin Clark. I mean, she didn't have her facts right. But once we get to the whole numbers part of it, it does bring up the type of debate of, okay, if you get into that fifth year, should this count? Or if you played for another school and you played maybe lesser competition as opposed to what you're playing now, should any type of record being broke or any type of accomplishment, should it be as celebrated as if you were there at that school for the 4 years? This is where I think you overthink it too much. Like, nobody's going to convince me that Baylor Shireman is not that good of a player, but he got all of those points because he was at South Dakota State and played in the Summit League for a good chunk of his career before he moved over to Creighton. You watch the kid, you know what he's capable of. You see him, what he does every night. I don't need numbers or even to get into that debate of, should there be more clarity on his numbers and what he accomplished when it came to that type of feat. When it comes to Caitlin Clark, I do feel strongly that if she were to come back next year and we are putting that career point total out there, that it probably the final points at the end of this season should be that, because not everybody is getting that fifth year. So I do think that there is something with that. But again, that's not going to take me away from saying, yeah, Caitlin Clark was a generational talent.
Scary Gary on the stream, he's right. Here's another one about the NCAA recognizing stats. God, Jimmy, you sit close to the screen.
So reading Benoit Benjamin's stat.
In Sanders' Heisman year, his numbers were off the chains. But they didn't count the Holiday Bowl. If you remember, Barry Sanders in the Holiday Bowl that year ran for 222 yards, 5 touchdowns, didn't even play the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been added to his amazing total.
Yeah.
So
3,000 yards.
We can't get caught up in stats.
And
The
we just
whole
do.
point of this discussion.
Yep.
Snow is stupid. Stats are in a vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for my TED Talk. Now,
it's true though.
It's
very
old man
true.
Doug brought up the cock. Okay.
Yep.
It's with us. You got to accept it. It's part of your life. It just is. It's not going away.
The peacock is.
It's new, but it's not going away.
It's true.
You can fight it all you want, but because of the success of really the first year around the Big Ten, we're going to get more. Here's what I'm gonna be positive about Peacock is you can't do this on network television. Is you can carry the pregame introductions.
Yes, they did that yesterday.
And you can carry the postgame.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that on a streaming service. If you remember the beginning of the Nebraska-Maryland game, before the announcers took over, because that game started, what, at 11:30? No, wait a minute. It was an odd start time.
Yeah, it was early. I think it was like 11:30.
So
yeah.
they started their stream about 30 minutes prior to kickoff.
Yeah.
And they weren't just like having a camera that was focused on the field and they were counting down to when the announcers took over. They were giving you like the feel of Memorial Stadium.
Yeah.
You can do that on a streaming service. That was kind of cool last night. They showed the starting lineups and then they were able to carry the entire post game on a streaming service. If you're on the Big Ten Network, they probably carry, part of the post game, but they probably don't carry it all. So that's one of the things you can do on a streaming service. I did notice following people that were watching that are diehard Iowa fans that were showing up on my timeline. I guess the lag time was really slow yesterday. So, Caitlin, and it depends on how your connection is. Caitlin Clark set the record and tweets were coming out, and maybe like 15 seconds later, people were actually seeing it that it had happened.
Okay.
So that would be the only drawback. And we all have different, heck, I still have Cox. You're all coming back, man. I didn't cut the cord. I didn't shoot the sheriff, and I never cut the cord. So y'all coming back. Even Cox Cable has a bad lag time. Not it, YouTube TV is hit or miss. But I heard Peacock was a little bit slow last night. So I'm wondering if they have just a ginormous amount of people that were there with it.
Yeah, I'm sure they were. I know that was appointment television for us last night. As far as the lag time, so my phone was like sort of away. That'd be the only way I would have known if the lag time was significant based on whatever the push notifications I would have gotten. But yeah, like I think doesn't everybody who streams YouTube TV and even Peacock or anything else that you're watching sports, maybe you're, even on, I don't know why you would, but maybe you're watching some of the sports on Paramount Plus too, that you just kind of go into it knowing that you're going to be a little bit behind. I've kind of accepted that.
Yeah, but you can't have that. If you're going to promote betting and live betting.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You got to fix the lag time.
That is a good point. And you're right too. They can fix that all they want, but then it's going to come down to your connection within your home too, and where you're watching it. I mean, you might have a stronger connection upstairs compared to what you have in your basement or vice versa, depending on where your router is. So then there's that part of it too, which again, this is the one good thing about cable though, that alleviates all that because you've got the cord directly going in. That's the good thing about it, even though
when I left the cock and go to the Cox.
When I left DirecTV with the sports package that people in our business, it's essential to have, it was costing me well over $200 a month. And even with the different subscriptions that we have right now, we're still maybe just a little over half of that. We're probably about 125 now. Like a lot of those streaming services, like we just got Paramount Plus not that long ago. I think it's like $9. And I get it. Things add up. It's an a la carte. You start piling all that stuff on there and it adds up. But unless other cable subscriptions have come down, I can't imagine that's the case. But it's still, to me, for what we consume, it's a lot cheaper.
Hey, we can't fight it. I mean, we're with it. They spent $110 million, Peacock did, to have an NFL playoff game, and it got a huge amount of eyeballs. That isn't going to change.
Yeah. The only way that would maybe change is if like hardly anybody tuned in. Like if it didn't even make a dent. And if it's the NFL,
but that's why
you're at the very least, even on a bad day, it's going to do very well on a bad day.
Yeah. Scary Gary, who has become our economist on the show, get one less latte a month. Peacock is then essentially free.
Peacock's affordable.
Speaking of the latte, man,
Lots of sugar.
They have upped the price on iced coffees again. Come on, people. All it is coffee with ice.
Coffee with ice. I could
Like
make one for you.
Yeah, I know, but there's just something about kind of addicted.
It hits different.
They got you. They got you, just like the streaming services have.
They
us.
did. They did. They got
It's not
me.
going away anywhere.
All right. It is the opening day for college baseball. We got an update with Jimmy coming up. Speaking of that, anybody wondering who the baseball coach at Nebraska is?
Huh?
We'll do it in the next hour. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Dreamtime Saving Traffic Center. Stay home if you have nowhere to be. If you have to make a morning commute, expect several accidents on eastbound I-80 causing delays. Warning the accidents on the right shoulder at Giles. The other ones at 60th blocking the right 2 lanes and causing major delays as there's stop-and-go traffic from 84th. And one on eastbound I-480 on the ramp to 20th. Just a reminder that the roads are slick, so give yourself plenty of time, be patient, and buckle up and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Love Languages. Presented by Fernando's. 3. Receiving gifts.
Here, have a taco.
Come and feel the love at Fernando's, 75th and Pacific, 114th and Dodge, and FernandosOmaha.com.
So, Isabella, you're in high school earning college credits?
Tuition-free college credits.
Tuition-free? Your mom's got a...
Love that.
Hey, Maya, hold up. You'll graduate from high school.
But my college gen ed's knocked out. Tuition-free.
That's got to save you and your parents thousands in college tuition. How about you, Ian?
I'll be debt-free thanks to MCC.
Earn college credits while still in high school. Tuition-free. Get started at mccneb.edu/tuition-free. Classes start March 7th.
This is me at MCC.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers, offers exterior solutions that help you protect your number one investment. Whether it's roofing and siding or windows and doors, they're committed to excellence, quality, and outstanding customer service in every step of the process. When it's time to protect the exterior of your home, your choice is simple. Turn to who the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Check them out online and schedule a free estimate today. J-Tech Construction, the official exterior experts of the Huskers.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
Some days, my active psoriatic arthritis makes it hard to get in the game. Now, the ball is in my court, thanks to treating my skin and joints with Skyrizi, Risankizumab Rizin, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults.
Nothing is everything.
Skyrizi helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Why do I feel like Styx is all of a sudden going to start
Yeah.
singing?
That would be nice.
Yes, it does.
I should do that one of these days. As I try not to sound like death.
You good?
I feel fine.
You
Yeah.
good? Okay.
Well,
Snowing.
Snow is stupid. That's why I sound like
does
this.
stuff like that.
Get that trending, please.
Yeah.
Snow is stupid. Okay.
Yeah. Back. Change it on my thing. The Big Ten Conference announces its volleyball conference schedule rotation for next season. The schedule will remain a 20-game schedule with 10 home games, 10 away games. Nebraska will play 3 opponents, both home and away. Those opponents are Illinois, Iowa, and Wisconsin. Double play opponents were determined with consideration for competitive balance, geography, and rivalries. The Huskers will host Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Purdue, Rutgers, UCLA, and USC, and they'll travel to Maryland, Michigan State, Northwestern, Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Washington. Each Big Ten school in the Central and Eastern time zone will make a single trip to the Pacific time zone during the season. Earlier start times hit different. Baylor Shireman is one of 30 players named to the Naismith Trophy Men's Player of the Year midseason team. He is the third different Blue Jay honored for one of its Naismith Trophy-related awards. Trey Alexander and Ryan Kalkbrenner were both named to the preseason 50 watch list, while Kalkbrenner was one of 15 men listed on the Defensive Player of the Year watch list. Jay's at Hinkle tomorrow at 11:30. Bring your sunglasses. Nebraska ball hosts Penn State tomorrow. PBA Hangover Special at 11 a.m. It's on BTN, not the cock. Some people thought. Be undefeated if that were the case, but we'll see. Omaha women's basketball. Hey, shout out John Schreiner. They upset South Dakota on the road, 77-67. It's snowing up there, so they needed something.
So they were in Vermilion. It was a sweep by the Mavs against USD. So
about that,
they were an hour ahead of the men's game. So their game ends about halftime of our game. So I texted Schreiner. I said, "Go crazy in Vermilion," and he said, "We're driving to Brookings." And I said, "Go crazy at Applebee's. We were just in Brookings. It's open until 11.
Don't order the wing.
Now that's how you celebrate a big dub against the Yotes there.
Get a burger,
That's
fries,
impressive.
get the quesadilla burger. That's pretty good. Those Mavs improved to 6-19 overall, 2-10 in conference play. They're in Brookings already, but they'll play tomorrow. The Omaha men get a huge win over the Yotes last night at Baxter. They begin their final homestand of the season. They win 91-84, so fun game over South Dakota to sweep the season series for the first time in 5 seasons. Frankie Fiddler scored 23. They remain in the thick of the hunt for the number 1 seed with 2 games to go at the end of the day. 13-14 overall, but 6-6 in the Summit. Even bigger game with South Dakota State tomorrow night at 7. Nick will be there. Will you?
I will.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Gary will be there too,
Yeah,
but
Gary
he'll
will
be
be there.
working, so he won't be taking pictures.
I'm going to be. We got some really good seats too.
Yeah, they had a Gerboni last night that was a South Dakota basketball fan that was sitting in the
on the floor,
Gucci row.
No.
Ooh, yeah. So I watched him.
How's that happen?
He walked in. He walked in at about 6:15, and there was a group of us that were around where our broadcast location is, and we saw him because it looked like he was like flexing, and he walked right into the front row and sat down. I thought he was going to be trouble.
There's got to be ways to eliminate that. There's got to be
Durango?
ways to eliminate
The bouncer.
But yeah, they expect a
Omaha
big crowd
fans
tomorrow night.
only.
They swept South Dakota this year, and it's significant because South Dakota State, North Dakota State, they all recruit in this area, and they have a long history of recruiting in Omaha. And you prove to local recruits that they want to stay close to home, we're better than them. And sweeping South Dakota is a good step. And first time it's happened since 1819, which was a pretty good year for Omaha men's basketball. Something's up with South Dakota. They're last in the Summit League. They should be better than they are.
That's weird.
It's cold there,
But they also are like they struggled last year. I mean, Craig Smith hasn't been there for a while. They got good players in that program, but I don't know. There's something missing with South Dakota basketball. But the Summit League is up for grabs. Here's the other element of mid-major basketball. Is regular season champions don't get an automatic berth in the NIT if you don't win your conference tournament.
Oh.
So it changes the dynamic.
Oh, really?
Bit. Yeah. It used to be if you would win the Summit League regular season and you did not win the postseason, you'd still go to the NIT.
Right.
1 year, South Dakota State with Dom, they had to go to Texas. They were in the NIT. They didn't win the conference tournament. It was actually the year that actually was 18-19 because they got upset by Western Illinois in the opening game.
I remember that.
And it was North Dakota State Omaha in the final. So you don't have that anymore. So it changes the dynamic a little bit of the importance of winning the regular season.
When did they change that?
This past year, right?
Was it, okay? I was going to say because I thought last year they were talking about
last year or this year.
Yeah,
this has got to be the first year of that. I didn't realize that, and I remember it was either last year or the year before talking about the regular season champion. Well, you at least have the NIT. Because I think they were talking about on the women's side of it too. I can't remember how that was brought up, but I know it was brought up like last year. So Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're in a Power 6 conference and you win the regular season, you're in the NCAA tournament.
Right.
It benefited the OVCs and the Summit Leagues better because you got at least you were going to get 2 teams into the postseason possibly.
Yes,
and now they don't have that anymore. So tomorrow night should be fun. South Dakota State's really good. They got beat by Kansas City last night.
Be a great day tomorrow, so people can go hang out down there by the arena before going to the game.
Be a big Bellevue West night with Frankie Fiddler against Bill Kyle III.
Francis Marion Center, you can check that off your bingo card. Lauren Taylor set the NCAA record for all divisions with 44 rebounds. Who she thinks she is? Larry Smith? And the Patriots 85-62 win over North Greenville last night. She is a 5'11 senior. She pulled down 30 defensive rebounds, 14 offensive boards. Nobody boxes out in the Division II game for the most ever in an NCAA contest. Taylor surpassed the Division II mark of 36 set by Christine Desane of West Virginia Tech against Ohio Valley way back in 1995. The old NCAA mark was 40 by Deborah Temple of Delta State, the Fighting Airlines, against Alabama Birmingham in a Division I contest February 14th, 1983. The Division III mark is 38. Taylor is from Blythewood, South Carolina. She broke the Francis Marion mark of 32 set by LaRue Fields in a win over South Carolina in 1976. Grabbed 16 boards in the first quarter, 9 in the second, 8 in the third, 11 in the fourth. She also set a career high with 34 points and had her 18th double-double of the season. So to recap, 34 points and 44 rebounds. And most importantly, they won the game. Finally, in the NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks are 3-7 in the Doc Rivers era. Do with that what you will.
Hey,
Adrian Griffin deserved better.
I got home last night in time to watch the end of their game against Memphis, and Milwaukee was a 14.5 point favorite. Is Doc Rivers' TV seat still warm? Can he go back to TV? Because he is a failure right now as the Bucks coach.
Yep.
Could the Bucks have 3 different head coaches during the course of the season?
Oh, God.
Bring back Don Nelson.
Because he threw his team under the bus last night.
Oh, nice.
He said
It's not even his team.
Some guys were in Cabo. Well, remember, he's also coaching in the All-Star game.
Yeah, because that's what you do as you're the coach of the Bucks. And
there is a guy. Hey, I'm not going to complain because we're all out there chasing it. But is there anybody else in sports that falls up more than Doc Rivers?
No.
Cliff Kingsbury was giving him a run for his money, but
good point.
That is a good one.
So he said some guys were in Cabo. I mean, incredible how bad they are at 3-7.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't no Minnesota Timberwolves, who are a game and a half clear of everybody else in the West. Won their 4th in a row last night.
NBA champions this year.
Ant-Man was great. Oh, hey, and they have 27 games left. The T-Wolves do. Only 10 are on the road.
By stock in the T-Wolves?
They're up 30 in the first quarter last night. We are at T-Wolves Town.
We should be.
On Cox 47 on
that's what they show here.
Valley Sports Midwest.
Buddy,
we are part of T-Wolves
We
Kingdom.
get the T-Wolves, and then on nights we don't get the T-Wolves, we get the Thunder. So
it's not bad.
We're NBA City here.
That's right.
Hey, the NHL. Give us a G League team of Wolves and Thunder.
Oh, come on.
Take the Iowa Wolves away. All right. Thanks,
How many
Jimmy.
times has that been discussed, by the way, the G League in Omaha? Many times. There was always like 2 phases, I feel like, 2 waves of like G League talk.
I only remember one.
There was
the Gary Green and his group that owns the Storm Chasers in Union, Omaha, were approached. The Nuggets, I believe.
Yes, we're thinking the same one. It wasn't that the one that they were talking about at first, maybe Ralston Arena?
Yeah, it was the only place they would play. Was Ralston Arena.
Yeah, okay. And then there was one, it was shortly after the Racers had left. It was within a handful of years. And again, I don't know what the format, it wasn't called the G League then. Maybe it's still maybe it's still the CBA or the D League. I don't know what it was at the point, but it was a little bit.
You can't replace the Racers.
I know. Well, we don't have the Exarban Coliseum. Where are they going to play? Can't play at the Civic Auditorium. It's too bougie.
I miss this. I miss the Racers, man. That was fun times.
The Racers was amazing.
I actually miss Exarban Coliseum.
I did too. I watched some amazing Lancer games there, but more than anything, one of my most memorable times in that place was a Racers game, and it wasn't seeing legs.
I was
seeing Manute Bowl playing for the Florida Beach Dogs.
I think where the coffee shop is where the Coliseum was.
That's sad.
Yeah. I called a lot of hockey games between the Lancers and the Stars at Exarban Coliseum. I loved it.
Which barn better, Exarban Coliseum or the Icebox?
Come on, pull this leg and it plays Jingle Bells. It's called the Icebox. Nothing will top the Icebox. Okay, I didn't have to worry about my feet sticking to the ground when I walked.
Wait, at the Icebox?
That's character, though.
So at one point, the Icebox was a little bit more elite, is what you're saying.
It's always elite. Always elite.
Have you been lately?
Well,
Becky O'Shea Center?
I've been in a while. I've had lots of invites to go back down to Lincoln and watch the Stars. My schedule's a little wonky.
I went to a game right before COVID, and speaking of like feet sticking to the floor, and like you're at a downtown Lincoln bar.
It's changed a little bit. That whole league has changed, unfortunately.
You say that like that's a bad thing.
It was fun. I would like to make a Stars game. Since I moved back here, I haven't been back down in Lincoln, and that was my second home. I don't know why I haven't been down there. I don't have like anything against the new management. I really don't know them. But I'm going to make it to a Stars game. Yeah. But the Stars are always the best team in the USHL. I don't care if they're in last place.
The dingier the barn, though, and more intimate like the Icebox, the better hockey environment. I mean, it's one of the best hockey environments when it comes to that level of play.
Like so all arenas, the old ones were better.
Quick story about Exarban Coliseum, because the locker rooms were behind the curtain up on the stage.
Yeah.
And so John Baylor and I went to a Racers game.
Yeah.
And we snuck in the back door. Like I was like, hey, this is where I come in for hockey. We'll just, there's no attendant back there. That's where the teams come in. And we made Tate George late for a game because Tate George was playing for.
I remember him.
Maybe not the Connecticut team. I don't know. It was an East Coast team. He was playing the CBA. And we got into a conversation with Tate George coming out of the locker room, and he was late on the floor for introduction. Because
I thought maybe you guys locked him out or something.
Firing all kinds of questions at him, especially about the game. Was it against Clemson?
Yeah.
That he hit the shot?
Yeah.
Oh, it was. But so the horn sounds, and they're getting ready to do
the.
He's still like back behind the curtain talking to Baylor and I.
Did you guys have to tell him? Did you tell him he needed to leave, or did he say, "Oh, I need to leave"?
No, he was like chilling with us.
Yeah, I know. Were you guys like, dude, I think you're about getting ready to be announced?
Yeah, they got other.
I think then he got into some trouble off the floor, maybe some financial stuff.
Yeah.
Nice guy. No, I miss Exarban Coliseum.
It was cool, just the players that you would see come through there, and again, whether they were, went on to do anything after that, or they were just, on the final leg of their career at like Manute Bull. It was cool as a young guy that you knew of these guys, and it was fun, man. And it was super affordable. We were a very modest income family, so we'd go to a lot of games. So I know it was affordable.
Will there be a racer mentioned this weekend? Because anytime there's a 3-point contest, inevitably Tim Legler's name is going to be mentioned.
Yep, should be.
All right. Opening day of college baseball. Chew on this for just a moment. What will June look like around here for red, blue, and black baseball? Before we get to that, here is a guy with a great first name. His name is Gary. Joins us now on the 42 Degree The Source Hotline. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all?
Good. How are you, sir?
Outstanding.
Recuperating from a knee replacement, but doing okay.
Oh.
So
what aren't you replacing on your body
this week?
Yeah. Nick, how did the butter on the Pop-Tarts?
I actually I did do it. It was very good.
Damn.
It was very good.
All right.
I forgot to update you guys on that.
Yeah. Well, I just was curious because I didn't think it was very good. But anyway.
I thought it was very good.
Since you were talking about the gentleman, since you were talking about the gentleman from UNO, Fiddler.
Frankie Fiddler, yes.
Frankie Fiddler. Is he an NBA player that we can look forward to watching? And my second question of the day is the young lady that's coming in from Elkhorn North to Nebraska going to have the same type of capabilities and stardom as Caitlin Clark?
That's a good question, Gary. I hope the knee feels better. Thank you for the call.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. No pressure, Britt.
Frankie's not an NBA guy. He'll get paid to play professional basketball, but not when you think of an NBA guy. He's a bucket getter. He's now 9th after his 23 6-6 last night. He is 9th all time in scoring. For anybody that followed Omaha men's basketball in the Division II era, there is a number that I don't think anybody thought could be eclipsed, and that is Dean the Dream.
Yeah.
Dean Thompson, who great basketball player. So he's the all-time leading scorer in Omaha men's basketball, and it's over 1,800. Frankie is now about 400 away. He is 9th. He has one more year of eligibility.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of 23 jerseys that are popping up in the crowd. Frankie said on the air that the breaking the school record is pretty important to him, along with taking this program to the NCAA tournament. but he is inching closer. He won't break.
Get him.
He won't break it
stay.
this year.
Yeah.
But he's now in the top 10.
You can get him to stay.
But he'll play professional basketball somewhere. He'll get paid to play, or he'll be my analyst on the radio.
I could, yeah.
Well, yeah, you guys have good chemistry now. We learned that a couple weeks ago.
One day we'll have Sharp and Fiddler.
The Britt Prince thing. Talk about putting a lot of pressure on somebody, though. I mean, I watched her in the state championship game last year, and I've heard so much about her, and she's impressive. But I don't know if you could look at anybody in any high school right now throughout the country and say, yeah, that's your next Caitlin Clark. I mean, that's what has made this thing with Caitlin Clark so remarkable, is that's a generational talent. From what I've seen with Britt Prince, she scores in a lot of different ways, and she's pretty dominant offensively, but let's wait and see once you get to the Big Ten level, the collegiate level, where that game translates. I mean, she's a scorer. She could do some great things.
So the next great women's basketball player, because you have Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are going to move on, is Juju Watkins. If you've not seen her play, she's a freshman at USC, and she is a bucket getter as well. Here's the negative of the Caitlin Clark experience, is there's going to be bad comparisons out there moving forward, and people are going to try and compare the next great young female in high school basketball or college basketball to Caitlin Clark, and that's very unfair to Caitlin Clark and also unfair to that person. Now, Juju Watkins is the real deal. If you haven't, stayed up late to watch her on the Pac-12 network, please do it. But we're going to get bad comparisons. But it's a good question by Gary, because we in this town have seen Britt Prince play for basketball for a long time. If you saw her before Elkhorn North opened their doors and you saw her play AAU, you're like, yeah, she's the real deal. And she's going for another state title, and she's committed to Nebraska. Here's what I hope. And I think people are smart enough. They're not going to say, well, Nebraska's got their Caitlin Clark. You never know, because when I saw Caitlin Clark play at Dowling, because a buddy of mine is on the boys basketball staff, and he said, you got to come see this player. She's actually UConn's talking to her. She's only a sophomore. I went and saw her play as a sophomore at Dowling, and I was like, yeah, there's something different. Britt Prince, if you've seen her play at Elkhorn North throughout her now 4th year of high school, which you can't have a 5th year of high school unless you live in Immokalee, Florida, where they have 26-year-olds that are playing football these days.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a controversy down there, but I go back to the main story here.
It's all about winning.
There'll be comparisons. Here's what I hope Britt Prince can provide to Nebraska is Caitlin Clark has given Iowa women's basketball a vibe, and it has elevated the program to winning. I don't want to talk about records. I'm talking about the impact that you can make, where the Nebraska women's basketball program, which is kind of middling, they're an NCAA program, but they're middling. They always feel like an 8 or 9 seed that lacks athleticism.
Yeah.
Well, now you get a player, and they've also, the next 2 recruiting classes are shaping up to be pretty good for Amy, and you get Britt Prince in a battle to keep her in state, and she chooses your school, even though the school in blue has had more NCAA success and was knocking on the door of the Final Four not too long ago. And what Flan's program is. So you get her. I just hope that she elevates the vibe, but more importantly, elevates the winning, and then the rest will take care of itself. But it's not fair to her or anybody else in her shoes, or even Caitlin Clark, because Caitlin Clark is a standalone. And I was telling you guys yesterday, because leading up to last night, they started to show like the first year, which was the COVID year. Carver Hawkeye is empty. Caitlin Clark, she got buckets, but she wasn't like she is now, like the kind of game where she was passing and shooting and all that kind of stuff. So you never know.
She's a shooter.
Just can you help the program elevate the winning, and then because of your stature, we're able to attract recruits that wouldn't think about Nebraska. That's all I'm asking in her career. And I think if you got that, and you got numerous trips to the NCAA tournament, you would say, hey, we won a recruiting battle, and good on you. You did what we thought you would do as one of the highest ranked recruits ever to commit to Nebraska.
Well, and you're right about what Nebraska's been kind of lacking when it comes to being and the difference between being an NCAA tournament team and a legitimate threat to do anything in the NCAA tournament. And that is having like that cold-blooded killer, having that difference maker that just takes over a game, but does it in a way that, come all defenders, do what you want. You're still not going to shut her down. They haven't had that. They've had good spot shooters. They've had some good post players, but nothing electric to where their game is so well-rounded.
Put some respect on Megan Yedsena.
But that's the thing is, if I'm looking at what Nebraska and what she could represent, that's what people need to be more focused on. You're right, is not if she or anyone else is going to be the next Caitlin Clark or could have that type of effect. It's just being able to have a significant impact on a game where everybody around you is obviously contributing, but you're the show. And that's not to say like she needs to take 80 shots a night or anything like that, but that's, your offense is so well-rounded that not only are you getting yours every night and you're averaging, well into, 20 to 25 points a game, but other people around you are getting theirs too. And you become a tough team to defend, where it doesn't matter what team you're playing. You can't stop them. And they haven't had that type of player. There's a lot of teams in the Big Ten that haven't had that. There's a lot of teams in college basketball that haven't had that. And so the fact that she could represent that for Nebraska, that should be the most exciting thing, I think. And then also the peer recruiting on what you can do on top of that while she's here to recruit around her too. It's the same thing we talk about in football and in men's basketball too. You get that it type player and they show out that first year and you can recruit to that, then you got something there.
Hey, think about this at Nebraska. So, I think Nebraska athletics, the women have held up their end of the bargain. Men's athletics is kind of turning the corner and trending in a lot better direction across the board, not just football or men's basketball, but across the board. Think about what they have in Lincoln. So, unfortunately, you're not going to have Jordy Ball. And it's not like she is new. She's, this is her third year in college. But you have like the young could change your program athletes. Skylar Pierce, who is a freshman, who is a great volleyball player. Now, she joins a program with, we could say, well, Harper Murray, you were saying that about last year.
Yeah.
So a young core, but I'm talking about just an individual who is one of the highest rated recruits that joins. You got Dylan Raiola, and then you're going to have Britt Prince next year.
Yeah.
That's not bad for what's going to go on in Lincoln. All right. I pose this question. You can answer. We'll go to break. We'll talk about it on the other side. Today is the opening day of college baseball. The road to Omaha begins with snow on the ground where the road to Omaha ends. We're a good. I wouldn't consider us a college baseball town. We like college baseball. No, we actually like going to the College World Series for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's not like we're living and dying if LSU or Florida wins a national championship, unless you have a financial interest.
There's not college baseball watch parties going on today and tomorrow and Sunday.
All three teams are on the road.
Yeah.
So I looked at D1 baseball's preseason 64. I need a magnifying glass to find either Omaha, Creighton, or Nebraska. They're not in there.
Yeah.
There's only the one bid from the Big East and the Summit League. I think, quick glance this morning, I think there's only two from the Big Ten, Iowa and Indiana. Now, UCLA, USC, and Oregon are in there, and they will be joining the conference next year. So what will June look like around here, Nicholas? Will it include Nebraska, Creighton, Omaha, all three for the second time ever? None? 1, 2? Call your shot.
I'm going to go 1, and I'm going to say it's going to be Creighton. And
they have to win the conference tournament Ohio.
Yep. They win the conference tournament. This is the thing that when I look at the type of team that Ed's bringing in, where Ed he's already got an offensive core. And I think that's been the issues where when they don't return guys and proven defensive players and offensive players, we know how much defense matters to Ed. That's one of those things that kind of can sort of lull throughout the season. The thing about their pitching staff, and this is what excites me more than anything about Creighton right now, is that they have a lot of power arms and some of these guys that have had different spots over the last couple of years that actually can fill into starting roles, but also being able to have, the 90-plus stuff a little bit more regularly is something you don't see. I have a lot of confidence in what Ed does very well when it comes to defense, when it comes to being able to his coaching staff manage pitching, that can come along at the right time, especially given what you have here these next 3 weeks before you even get into conference play. I feel like having that part of it with Creighton puts them in a really good spot. Now, on the other side for Nebraska, we talked about this yesterday. It's the great unknown. And there are things about this team that I'm extremely intrigued about. And a lot of it has to do with what they're doing on the mound and who is leading those guys on the mound. But the offense worries me.
All right. So did you guys participate in Dry January?
I did not know.
Jimmy?
Did I? I don't think so.
You could have done what Sarah Baker Hansen did, call it damp January, where you were sort of.
Okay, I'll say maybe I did that. But it wasn't on purpose.
That was a birthday month, so I
don't feel confident enough.
I got after it.
It's going to be a dry June around here.
A dry June?
3 Division I baseball programs.
Yeah.
I don't feel like, wow, that is a NCAA team. Too many unknowns.
But will Omaha's Tigers be here? That's the question.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the select team, Omaha Tigers. That is actually a select team.
I just need Dave Van Horn to finally win a championship. That's all I'm rooting for. And I don't want Wake Forest. Wake Forest is the best team in the country. They're boring. I've changed here. I've changed. I want debauchery. I want beads. I want an Ed Orgeron lookalike getting it on outside of Zesto's at 2 a.m. That's what my College World Series is.
Never gets old.
Okay, you might say, hey, that Caglione will be back again. And Florida's going to want to make up for what happened against LSU, and LSU still has Tommy White. And I'll say, hey, they don't have Livy Dunn, so we don't have our Taylor Swift of college baseball. I'm all in on storylines and excitement and characters. Wake Forest has a great roster. I'm sorry, people in Winston-Salem. Your program is boring.
Did you get enough of Tony Vitello last year, though?
I love me some Tony.
I like Tony, but I thought he was almost a little too buttoned up last year.
Yeah, because they got at him because the previous time he was here, he got thrown out of the game.
Right. So I want
people like, you don't do that to the College World Series. And I'm like, you don't do that to Tony V.
Yeah. I want Tony Vitello unhinged. So I'll take Tennessee.
So I think it'll be a dry June. But Wake Forest will probably, win the national title, and this will show up somewhere, and I'll have all these Demon Deacon people are all over me.
Yeah. I want to be clear now. We're talking about for people who are like, wait, you're taking Creighton to go to the College World Series? No, to make the NCAA.
I think that's what you said.
No, I did not.
I think, you were like, whoa, Ryan Martindale, Scott Stahoviak. They're all coming back.
Jim Henry, come on, lead them. Now, make the NCAA tournament. There's a better path out of that conference, I think, for Creighton. There's too many unknowns with Nebraska, and I worry again. Similar situation I have with Nebraska, I have with Omaha of the offense.
All right, come on, Dave. Let's finally get a national championship. All right, we'll celebrate because we will. I'll celebrate with him every year.
I think a lot of Omaha fans would.
Yeah, they have a chance to be a top 8 national seed.
I like that. That's a good story.
Florida looks really, really good, though.
And we're a couple of years removed from our Arkansas hate after what happened with the Nebraska regional and them going after Mojo. Remember, we didn't like their fans for a while.
Yeah, but if you don't like Dave Van Horn, I got nothing for you. He's one of the greatest coaches in the history of the Nebraska athletic department. There, I said it. Probably not going to put him on the Mount Rushmore, but he's pretty damn close. He's like if we had like junior Mount Rushmore, like we had a knockoff, like you have fake Fleetwood Mac.
Well, then there's
the fake Chicago band that we're advertising. Like if in somewhere
Fleetwood Mac, like
in South Dakota, South Dakota, if they had fake Mount Rushmore, like Van Horn would be on it.
Well, they have don't they have Stonehenge too? It's like a mini Stonehenge.
There's Carhenge.
Yeah, there's Carhenge too, but I think there's Stonehenge too.
Local.
Yeah, no, I think Van Horn is always the sentimental favorite.
Yeah, he is, because when we think of
how weird would that be if you had Nebraska goes on this incredible run, they get to the College World Series, and you have a game with Nebraska against Arkansas. You would have Van Horn coaching against his shortstop and against his pitching coach, who was his right-hand man and his best friend.
Right. Now that would be
the story.
So much more uncomfortable. Like I think
that might top the fake Ed Orgeron outside of.
I don't know who'd be more.
Now you're getting.
I don't know who'd be more uncomfortable.
Still have that video on my DMs.
What it's good and good for him, by the way.
Good for her.
Who would be more uncomfortable between Will?
She is from Omaha. He was not from Omaha. She was from Omaha.
Oh,
cop
she was
that broke it up. Told me
she was a good host.
Yeah, Chamber of Commerce. That's what you want.
Yeah, you got to be good guest, good
she
hostess,
asked him
especially.
have you gone to the zoo?
We had good guests. Obviously, that guy was, but good hostess make the event more. Who would that be more uncomfortable for?
Decor or wood? Excuse me?
No, for Will, Dave, or even Rob Childress. I there would be so much awkwardness and just uncomfortable feelings. Fans wouldn't care. Fans would get that would be something. Nebraska fans overwhelming the Arkansas fans, but we're a long way from that.
We just want fans. That's what we want here. We want fans. We want you to come and spend a lot of money in our community because we're having a big year of sports. We got the first and second round of the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
Maybe Nebraska plays in Omaha, along with Iowa State, KU, and Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. That'll be all right.
We got the College World Series. Okay, just come. We just want stories. We want people. We want people to spend money. That's all we're asking.
Mm-hmm.
We're just very simple people here in the Midwest. That's all we want. Okay, and that's all I want. I'm no longer into, hey, I want the best 8. I just want stories, and I don't want boring Wake Forest.
Yeah.
But you brought up Rob Childress. I think Rob Childress is the head coach of Nebraska. We'll discuss. Been an interesting offseason for Nebraska baseball. 36 past the hour. Wilson Moore will join us coming up in an hour. Nebraska men's basketball tomorrow at home, 11 o'clock against Penn State. You have Creighton is at Butler at 11:30 at Hinkle. Big day. All 3 men's basketball teams have big games ahead of them, 2 with some NCAA seeding on the line. So we'll get into that with Wilson, Matt Verzal as well on a feel-good Friday on 1620 The Zone. All right, you want to feel good. I don't care if it's Friday, it might be Saturday, it might be Sunday. Heck, it could be Monday. There's a lot of times you don't like Monday. You know who can take care of you? My good friends over at Mentality. You've got low T. You haven't been able to get going. Well, they're going to help you get going in a really, really smart way. They got the FDA-approved testosterone treatment. They're going to look at you on your first visit, got a complete physical, blood panel, consultation, all of that, and you'll get your results because there is no reason, guys, that you should feel like you don't have the energy or drive. You keep up with your kids, you get home from work, and you immediately go to the couch instead of hanging out with them. 5-10 years ago, you'd be out in the backyard playing catch, or you'd be going to support a dance recital or whatever. You'd be going to watch your daughter wrestle at the state tournament, and this year you're like, no, I just can't. No, do not let that happen. All right, don't get pinned. Instead, have your arm raised with Mentality. For more information on how they can help you with their board-certified physicians, just go to the website, lowtusa.com. Don't be low, be high, as we all like to say. Mentality can be the best assist in your life, men. lowtusa.com.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
The suspicious activity also included the Better Showing Sportsbook staff messages from Bohannon and explaining that the messages were Bohannon informing Better that Bama was scratching its starting pitcher before the game before Bohannon alerted LSU.
So the
guys, look, I have messages from the coach.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from a Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Watch out for slick spots during the morning drive Friday as overnight snow wraps up. Still could have some lingering flurries during the AM hours. Otherwise, expect mostly cloudy, breezy, and chilly conditions with highs in the low 30s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Dreamtime Saving Traffic Center, I would do yourself a favor and stay home if you have nowhere to be. There's multiple accidents to report. One of them is on eastbound I-80 at Giles. Another one's on southbound 144th at I-80 blocking the left 2 lanes. And there's multiple injury crashes reported on Highway 36 between Blair High and 144th. And expect slow goings on eastbound Dodge from I-680 to 72nd and slow goings on westbound side from 72nd to 84th. Buckle up and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by IBEW Local 22.
The electrical market requires your company to adjust to an ever-changing field. IBEW Local 22 gives you flexibility with access to journeymen, apprentices, and proven training programs. Call Bob at IBEW Local 22 for details at 402-980-7596.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style.
When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call on the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Since 1972, family-owned and locally roasted Host Coffee Service has been roasting the finest coffee for businesses and restaurants. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is Kops. Receive 2 $25 gift vouchers for just $25. Kops makes delicious pizza, fresh salads, and tasty charred wings. For the basic menu, click copspizza.com. And for the extended menu, visit them at Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, and the newly reopened 72nd and Jones locations.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Progressive asks, what do a slow Friday night, bored teenage boys,
I'm bored.
a pack of fireworks,
This is gonna be awesome.
and a teetering branch suspended over your car have in common?
Look out!
They can quickly wreak havoc on your slow Friday night.
Uh-oh.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive for great savings and round-the-clock protection.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Velocity Clinical Research in Omaha frequently conducts clinical trials for a broad range of investigational treatments. Typical studies involve medications for acne, allergies, chronic diseases, depression, and others. They also perform vaccine studies for people of all ages, conducting innovative research that has a positive impact on lives. Click for current trials at velocityclinicaltrials.com. More trials are launching in March. Compensation for study-related time and travel. Find out more at velocityclinicaltrials.com.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Old man Doug is fired up the base today. Kyle says, can we quit with the old guys letting us know they won't buy Peacock? We don't care. Miss sporting events, not a badge of honor. Jim says, old man Doug hates my banking app and thinks Caitlin Clark's records are cute. Got
it. Cute.
But I'll be there to make a deposit, Doug.
Right.
Be there after you open up at 9. All right, welcome back in. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's one team I do want to see in the College World Series as college baseball begins today. East Carolina. Finally a breakthrough.
The Pirates.
I'd be a big fan of East Carolina.
Would you like to expand on that?
Well, they've come close.
Jeff Blake.
They've got a really, really good program, and they have come close. You remember they hosted Texas a couple years ago, and the weather that super went on forever.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like some new blood here.
Yeah, it's always good to have.
We got ORU last year.
Yep.
ORU has a lot to replace.
Mm-hmm.
But East Carolina will be my sentimental team to make it here, outside of Dave Van Horn and Woo Pig Sooie.
I would feel like East Carolina is kind of close because I remember when Coastal Carolina finally got here and then obviously eventually won. Speaking of prolonged College World Series or postseasons, that one was weird Thursday, like 11 a.m. winner take all game. It was so strange. But I feel like that was kind of the same path of Coastal. Like they had been on the cusp. They'd been in supers. It had good teams. They were, a team that was pretty much a top 25 team all year for like the 5 years before they made it. So now they've kind of established it. And for East Carolina, for another team that I think they got ranked as high as like shoot, they were like number 4 or number 5 at one point last year. And so, but you've also seen that they've always been in like the regional host. Typically they're part of the regional host or they're in that discussion as well. Usually you get that breakthrough, and those teams that continue to do that, you get that breakthrough, then all of a sudden you're established. Like Coastal Carolina now, kind of seeing that on Creighton's schedule. I'm trying to remember which, I think it was Michigan has a series with them too. Like that's now considered a big deal when you play Coastal Carolina. There was a time it was like, who? Yeah. But now it's, so I think, East Carolina, that's another team that it kind of seems like they're on that path of finally breaking through. So you might get your wish there, Gary.
Hey, they've been one of the most consistent college baseball programs, and Cliff Godwin's a really good coach. Plus, their color analyst is an actual doctor.
Really?
Yeah, on the radio.
What the hell's he doing?
Like
he just loves baseball, huh?
He's a physician.
That's awesome.
And so he does color, and their play-by-play guy is a guy named Scooter.
Oh, even better. So you got Scooter in the dock?
It's quite the listen.
That sounds
weekday
amazing.
mornings.
Yeah, it sounds like a good morning show. Scooter in the dock.
So Nebraska baseball, we were talking yesterday. The expectations really, there really kind of is none, because I don't think people know exactly what this team is going to be. Instead of hitting 97 home runs and relying on Max Anderson and Bryce Matthews, they're going to be more of small ball. But I think the middle of the lineup can be good. You alluded to it. I agree with you. Their back into the bullpen will be the strength. There's just so many unknowns about the Nebraska baseball team, and no one has said our goal is to make it to Omaha or even host, which has happened in the past.
Yep.
But I mean, if Nebraska's not playing in June, that's 3 straight years they haven't been in the NCAA tournament. I have no idea what you're going to get. It could turn out to be a really good run. But it is kind of interesting surrounding Nebraska baseball. So with no expectations, and last year people were disappointed, even with the late run in the Big Ten tournament, Will doesn't get to the NCAA tournament. And Will was kind of, from the fans' perspective, not from the athletic department, on the hot seat, and Will made some changes.
Yep.
I mean, giving Jeff Christie the Ziggy was not easy.
No.
But he has Rob Childress, he elevates, he brings in Mike Sirianni, and they start moving forward. But they're going to open today. 29 of the 40 guys on the roster have never played for Nebraska.
Yeah.
Never. 29 of the 40. I don't know how comfortable that is, especially when you consider Nebraska has of late really gotten off to slow starts on the weekend. I think they're 5-9-1 under Will. But it's not like he's been hiding, because he's talked to the media and he's been at some events. But if you didn't know any better, would you think Rob Childress is the head baseball coach at Nebraska?
I could see why you'd think that, yeah.
Now, it's a great impact because we associate Rob with winning.
Yes.
He's part of the 3 College World Series appearances as the pitching coach, twice under Dave Van Horn, once under Mike Anderson. He gets to be the pitching coach with a staff that I think will greatly benefit from. You got to throw strikes. You got to miss bats. If you walk people, you're sitting next to me. I think they will benefit greatly. But it's almost like the focus has shifted from Will to Rob, that if Nebraska breaks through this year, it's all because of Rob. And that's not easy to do, to be comfortable. That's a sign, I think, of some growth of Will as a head coach, still learning how to be a head coach at a Power 5 program in a conference that is not Power 5.
Yeah, I think it's a fair way to look at that, because not only do we associate Rob Childress with success, but we associate Rob Childress with the best pitching staffs that Nebraska's ever seen. You go all the way back to Shane Comine, but then you look at, guys like Jabba and Johnny Dorn and everybody that they had from the back end of those staffs as well. Rob Childress, this is what he does. I mean, then you can look at some of his Texas A&M teams, even as the head coach, being able to have that impact on the pitching staffs for those programs and those teams. I mean, it's well documented. So I don't think it's a knock towards Will. In fact, I think it was a very smart move by Will. I love Jeff Christie, for the record. He's a great guy, and I think he is a good baseball mind.
Did he become a scapegoat?
There was a little bit of that, because this was the one part about the Jeff Christie story that I don't think was always told enough, and that was the year after Nebraska won the Big Ten tournament. They went down so badly on that staff with arm injuries. And this was always kind of a problem when Darren was here too. And there was always question about, what's Ted Silva, what's their, preseason regimen looking like? And is that leading to arm issues and whatnot? And I think a lot of that's garbage. Sometimes it's just really bad luck. It really is. But he was able to use some freshmen. Remember, people realize why they were excited about Jackson Brockett last year, because Jackson Brockett was thrown into some really tough situations in that year, especially in some midweeks. And he persevered. There were some young guys that I thought from the first part of the season to the end of the year in 2022, I thought you could see improvement right then and there. Now, there's the big one that everyone's still waiting on, and I think Jeff Christie also gets some fault for this one, is Drew Christo. Okay, why haven't you been able to unlock that as well? But I think there were enough examples of Jeff Christie being effective with certain pitchers. Now, at the end of the day, though, you're going to look at that staff as a whole. How many strikes are you throwing? How many free passes are you giving up? All those different things. And what's the overall team ERA? And is the pitching staff and it as a whole not being able to settle in on guys and, kind of having a revolving door when it comes to maybe a Sunday guy like they did last year. I mean, you had Emmett and Jace, but then after that, it was like, okay, is it going to be Jackson Brockett? Are we going to go with Will Walsh? There was a lot of different guys. That, again, I don't know if that's always on the pitching coach as it is just the situation and guys being inconsistent, but somebody's got to be accountable for that. And I think, to your point, you couldn't run everything back this year after missing the postseason twice and expect people to be confident in your product. And when you have a guy on your staff as an analyst in Rob Childress, and he's willing to not seek out a head coaching position, but to stay on staff, it's kind of a no-brainer to be able to have a guy that is already in your building be able to take over an area of need, and that's a pitching staff, because there's very few that do it better than Rob Childress, and you already have him. So that was a no-brainer. So now you fast forward to this year, and if I think about if this team is successful, if this team makes the postseason, the question of, is this more of Rob Childress's team right now? It's going to be because of the pitching. There's no question. I mean, this team could have a team batting average of 400. But if their pitching is not any better and not any more consistent, that's all going to go by the wayside. Okay, congratulations, you're putting up more runs, but you're losing, 10-7 ball games. If this thing works out this year for Nebraska, where they're in the postseason and they're one of the top teams in the Big Ten, it will be because of that staff. And that staff is, I say, intriguing, because I don't want to say exciting, because we don't know everything there is to know about it. But there are, kind of like what I mentioned with Creighton, there are some power arms. There are a couple of guys that you've been hearing some really good things about. And the bottom line is, when it comes to mid-late March, if you're seeing these guys out there consistently, it means one thing, and probably the most important thing, that's Rob trusts them. And that's a big thing with the staff.
The last time a Nebraska baseball coach did not go to the NCAA tournament 3 straight years, they didn't get a chance to either go to the tournament or not go to the tournament for the 4th year. That was Mike Anderson.
Yeah, and then he was gone.
Yeah. So it's a move that needed to be done. It's almost like Rob is the saving grace of Nebraska baseball, even though Will is still front and center, and Will is still doing what Will does. It's all the focus is on Childress, and that might be an okay thing, because we always associate, and we will, whatever happens this year and moving forward, we'll always associate Rob Childress with winning at Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Pitching coach on 3 College World Series teams, and a guy that should have been the head coach at Nebraska.
Should have been. And I have no problem saying that. He should have been.
Rob Childress's Q rating surrounding Nebraska athletics is one of the highest of anybody that has been involved with Nebraska athletics since 1998.
Yep. It's absolutely true.
Yeah. All right, 54 past the hour. Wilson Moore will join us next hour from the World Herald. We'll talk some Nebraska basketball. Nebraska hasn't played for a while, if you haven't noticed that.
It feels like a month.
They haven't played since Saturday when they took on that team that wears Michigan uniforms. But they get Penn State tomorrow at 11. Nebraska's net ranking right now is 53rd. There's a lot of brackets because Nebraska has not been in the forefront of the discussion this week because they haven't played.
I haven't seen them.
A lot of first 4 out, last 4 buys, a 10 or 11 seed.
Kids, get
tomorrow,
your mimosas on.
Tomorrow, the only way that the result tomorrow can move the needle if it's a bad result.
Yep.
So Nebraska has to just take care of
just
business. Wilson will join us coming
Just
up
win, baby.
at 8:30. Creighton is on the road tomorrow morning here on the Zone. They play at 11:30 at Hinkle against Butler, who will play with all kinds of desperation because they need another Creighton win on their resume. And you know what happens when Creighton goes and plays on a Saturday morning at Hinkle?
The sun's beaming through the glass.
They don't shoot well at all.
Yep.
And it becomes
Butler does.
It becomes a game that you go, I'm on record, though. I will say this. It will not be 99-98 in regulation.
No.
Or in overtime.
It's going to be in the 70s.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yep.
Already called your shot?
Yep.
Actually, it's going to be in the 40s tomorrow.
Thank you.
But sunny.
Thank you.
Hey, what time is shoot around? 10?
Sure. I won't be here.
Oh, you're not? Oh, okay. Is it?
Are you skipping out on your show?
I am.
Is it Jimmy Allen?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, we got to go out of town.
Okay.
Nothing fun.
Wow.
10 a.m.
Giving up.
But we'll be watching basketball. We will be watching all of the games.
All right. Enjoy KU. All right. We're back with more Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. Hey, you could be sitting next to the Chavezes, Jimmy and Alicia, watching a game this weekend because they went to ticketsforless.com and they downloaded the app and they used my promo code The Zone and they got a great deal. For events, it doesn't have to be local. It can be national. Yep, that's right. You can go to Tickets for Less right now and find the seats to you. The best events that are out there. Epic concerts, hottest games, must-see events. Proudly local. Tickets for Less. If you don't believe me, drive over to 145th and West Center right now. Now, the traffic is backed up on Dodge right now, so it might take you a little bit to navigate if you're coming from this area. But they are local. So if you have anything you want to take care of, you can go right there to 145th and West Center. Or go to their website, ticketsforless.com, or download that free app and find the seats to the best events. Don't forget, coming up Tuesday night in this town is a monster college basketball game. Possibly number one UConn, depending on what happens tomorrow against Marquette. They could be here to take on Creighton. And you want to be there. Find the best seats available to that game and much more at ticketsforless.com or on the Tickets for Less app. And remember, never any per ticket fees. On checkout, they got transparent pricing. And use my promo code The Zone for a great deal on your next order at ticketsforless.com or that Tickets for Less app.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Whoa, Sandra. So, in less than a week, you'll have
my forklift operator certificate.
And Joseph, you're quick to
respond? Yeah, with my degree in paramedicine, I'll be a
first responder? Cool. Bella, where are you off to?
Just knocking out my gen eds before
transferring to the university? Smart way to save, Bella. Get up to speed with your me time. On campus, online, on your schedule. Get started at mccneb.edu/me. Classes start March 7th.
This is me at MCC.
It's time to make good on those New Year's fitness resolutions by becoming a member at Croc Center Omaha. We've got a full range of fitness activities, free weights, Zumba classes, an indoor water park, pickleball courts, and much more. And right now is the perfect time to join. Sign up before the end of February and you can start your membership for just $1. Plus, we'll waive the registration fee. The Croc Center is just moments away from the Kennedy Freeway and Q Street. Go to omahacroc.org for more information. That's omahakroc.org.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank members. FDIC terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically. which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
Listen to the Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jays Shoot Around and Overtime shows, the Creighton men's basketball pregame and postgame shows on 1620 The Zone. The Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jays Shoot Around and Overtime shows are also presented by Union Bank and Trust. Hear the breakdown and coverage about your top-ranked Creighton men's basketball team before and after each game, exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone, the 1620 The Zone mobile app, and 1620thezone.com.
Did you know that radon is the #1 cause of lung cancer for non-smokers and that our region has some of the highest levels in the country? Radon Defense Midwest can test and fix your home. Visit radonradio.com for an exclusive offer for 1620 The Zone listeners. That's radonradio.com.
Saturday morning, the stretch drive begins with a much-anticipated rematch at the Butler Bulldogs. Pre-game coverage from Indianapolis begins at 10 a.m., tip-off at 11:30. Creighton basketball Saturday on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg. 1620 The Zone at 1620thezone.com. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Yeah, what, the 40th anniversary of Footloose?
Damn.
I think the release of the movie.
It's a classic.
That's
I got to
great
admit.
John Lithgow performance.
Yep. It's one of those movies that if it's on and I got nothing else going on, like especially like when you get home during the day,
You
for some reason
dance.
it's on. I don't dance, but I'll watch it. I will definitely watch it.
Yeah,
Footloose is a classic.
tomorrow is the 40-year anniversary of when Footloose was released.
I did not see that at the theaters.
So mayors and reverends, in honor of it, you shut down dancing for the day. You make it a city statute.
Great
There'll be no
soundtrack, by the
dancing.
way.
Yes.
Kenny Loggins.
I need a hero. That as well. I don't. I
That
can't
was also
remember.
in Short Circuit.
It was Johnny Five.
Chris writes into the Equitable Bank inbox. Shout out to Joe, the mortgage guy over at Equitable Bank. Listening in while working, so admittedly not super locked in on either task. But I thought I heard you say something about Rob Childress being the head coach. And I said to myself, I thought it was someone else, but interesting. Apparently Nebraska got a new baseball coach. Maybe not a great sign for Will, the program, when people aren't even sure who the head coach is, or maybe I'm just distracted.
You're distracted.
You
Chris.
were distracted.
Yeah.
It's the Raiola effect.
There was a reason behind that and the importance of Rob Childress's new full-time position.
Now, if Rob Childress was sitting next to me, he would strike this down because he is very, like he was the last couple of years in the dugout with Jeff Christie as a pitching coach. Rob's a very smart man, and he's back at Nebraska because he loves Nebraska.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he believes in Will too.
Daughter graduated from Nebraska. I mean, look at him and Van Horn. I mean, their connection with their kids to Nebraska after they were both gone.
Yep.
After they both went south. He's here because he loves Nebraska. I mean,
He could have been a head coach in several places.
Yeah, and I mean, look at when he was working at Texas A&M as a head coach, him and Van Horn had a hunting property south of Lincoln, so they would come back hunting, and then they'd be at a football game, and you'd be like,
I think I saw Rob Childress.
Rob is very, very cautious that he is not the head coach, that Will is the head coach, he's the pitching coach, and he has a role, and his role is to take care of his staff and make sure that they do their job.
Yeah.
But it is one of those things when you have Rob Childress in that position, you kind of say, hey, what's wrong? I'd like to know about Dylan Carey's transition.
Because he's seen all of it. He's experienced it. He's seen it at a high level. And he's a guy that is not going to be able to intelligently discuss all matters, just pitching.
But it's a wise move.
It is.
It's a wise move. You have to be comfortable in your own skin to have Rob Childress as your pitching coach in a place where 95% of the people think he should have been hired ahead of Mike Anderson.
Yeah.
And maybe 95% of those people think that instead of pitching coach, why didn't he just be the head coach and make Will the hitting coach?
Yeah.
So you have to be comfortable in your own skin. But it's a great addition, and I think it will pay dividends immediately for Nebraska. All right, coming up in the next hour, Wilson Moore joins us. We'll get into Nebraska basketball. They've been off for a week. Ooh. Why does it just feel like 11 a.m. tomorrow? It'll be a slow start. There'll be a tension convention.
Yep.
People will be like, that's not an NCAA team.
Yeah.
Students, get some Bloody Marys in you. Whatever you need.
Boy, when was the last Saturday?
Our buddy Joel Schaefer brought this game up 2 weeks ago and said this one makes him nervous out of all the home games remaining.
When was the last time Nebraska basketball? I mean, they used to get screwed. They would have hardly any Saturday home games. When was the last time they played at 11 a.m. on a Saturday?
I can't remember. I honestly don't remember when that's ever happened. Like East Coast makes sense. And they played out in Maryland here recently, 2 Saturdays ago. I think that was an 11 a.m. start, 11:30. Yeah. But yeah, as far as home, I don't know if it's happened in the last 5 years.
Get a win and celebrate Saturday afternoon in the rail yard.
And then come back to Baxter Arena and celebrate as the Mavs beat the Jacks.
At Exarban. Just a whole day of basketball.
I got you taken care of.
Say hi to Reese.
We'll do that coming up next. Mornings with Sharp and Handley and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Dream Time Saving Traffic Center, I would do yourself a favor and stay home if you have nowhere to be. There's multiple accidents to report. One of them's at southbound 144th at I-80 blocking the left 2 lanes and causing stop-and-go traffic from Harrison. Another one on 36 and Leavenworth. And there's multiple injury crashes reported on Highway 36 between Blair High and 144th. And expect slow goings on eastbound Dodge from I-680 to 72nd and slow goings on westbound side from 72nd to 84th. Buckle up and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Zoom Drain.
Zoom Drain's highly trained team of experts and our fleet of well-equipped service trucks are dedicated to providing solutions for homeowners, plumbing contractors, mechanical contractors, and business owners across many industries. Contact Zoom Drain anytime by logging on to zoomdrain.com.
Make the right call. John Higgins Weather Car, the home of the roofery.
When it's time to replace or repair storm damage, make the right call. John Higgins Weather Guard, the local, trusted, and proven choice. No one has installed more Da Vinci roofs, and there's a reason why John Higgins Weather Guard is the nation's leader. Community member, community supporter. Make the right call.
John Higgins Weather Guard, the home of the roofery. Make the right call.
A lot can happen between falling in love with a house online and owning it. Between imagining living there and breathing in your new home for the first time. Having an advocate who can help you navigate the complex world of financing, inspections, negotiating, analyzing the market, and talking through any anxieties that may pop up, that can make all the difference. That's what the expertise of a Realtor can do for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors and bound by a code of ethics, because that's who we are.
Hey fans, looking for the best seats without the hidden fees? Then you need to check out Tickets for Less. Whether it's Creighton games, Husker matchups, or big-time concerts and events, they've got you covered, all with no service fees. Now, you ready to score a deal? Use the code THEZONE at ticketsforless.com and save on your next event. You prefer to go mobile? Grab the free Tickets for Less app and shop with ease. Every seat holds a story, so find yours and save when you use the promo code THEZONE at ticketsforless.com and the Tickets for Less app today.
Nebraska State Veterans Homes are here to serve veterans, their spouses, surviving spouses, and Gold Star parents. Join your fellow veterans and their families at one of our homes in Bellevue, Kearney, Norfolk, or Scotts Bluff. With a sliding scale to determine your financial contribution, an excellent clinical team, and plenty of fun activities, our homes are the perfect retirement choice. Learn more at veterans.nebraska.gov/homes. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
News Talk 1290 Coil is the home of Omaha Maverick women's basketball all season long. Don't miss any of the Maverick action as they try to make their mark on the Summit League this season. Omaha Mavericks women's basketball is on News Talk 1290 Coil.
Tickets for Less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary Nicken on 1620 The Zone.
banger.
Yeah.
That's a banger.
Let's go set up the local hall for a dance tonight, fellas. Come on.
This is better than the title track.
Yeah.
Which is
it is.
iconic
This
too.
is this a hot take? This song better than the actual Footloose
Yeah.
song? I think it is. Who's not fired up right now driving to work? Or in your office, maybe
stuck in traffic on
doing
Dodge
a-
Road.
I heard there's some people. I heard the roads are bad.
Yeah.
And Cynthia said it was really rough coming in.
Our parking lot, for the little amount of snows there. Yeah, I almost slipped and fell.
Well, Joey just
But
parked
I
the
have,
guy.
I have dock shoes on. So.
Now they're out plowing. All the cars are here.
I know.
Smart. Great. Listen more from the world of Wilson and Joe's Crush Nebraska basketball at the bottom of the hour. You normally would not say that for a football program that hasn't been to a bowl game since 2016. People forget. People remember that we were all set to go to Las Vegas last year in the month of November. And then Michigan State, Maryland, Wisconsin, and Iowa all got in the way of our enjoyment. Nebraska finished 5-7. But with that said, we wake up today and Nebraska shares something with USC, Washington, and Iowa.
A conference.
That is true. Same win total on FanDuel.
Yeah, 7.5.
So Nebraska's win total is 7.5. If you go off of Bill Connolly's SP Plus rankings, the toughest team before Ohio State that Nebraska will play will be Rutgers.
Mm-hmm.
Chance to, feel good before you go to Columbus at the end of October. USC having a win total of only 7.5. Yikes. They're not paying Lincoln Riley to,
to be bowl eligible.
That much money. Washington makes sense. They lost a lot.
Yeah.
Whether Kellen DeBoer was going to stay there or not, they lost a lot. And then Iowa is at 7.5. So don't let anybody tell you that Nebraska is not relevant because they share a stage with a team that played for the national championship last year and USC. Now, the other win totals, if you have not heard by now, because I think we're the last radio show to break these down. Never fear, people. We have until the 31st of August.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State's at 10.5. Oregon's at 10.5. Michigan is at 9.5. I will take the under on that. Penn State is at 9.5.
Well done.
Hey,
You're
my
hero.
What in the hell is going on with the trustees at Penn State yesterday? Then USC at 7.5. Man. 7.5 for USC, Washington 7.5, of course, Nebraska and Iowa. So my question here is, we used to debate each other. We used to draw swords and meet for showdowns like we were fencing at 72nd and Dodge over 9-win seasons. Is the new 9 in the new Big Ten 8-4? Is 8-4 going to be, now probably not going to get you to the playoff,
right?
But for
still
programs that are in that kind of middle tier, where Nebraska is trying to get there, is 8-4 going to be considered a really good year in the Big Ten?
I think
say
so.
Yes,
I think so too.
With that schedule,
yeah. Between the schedule itself, but also the travel, and look at, you mentioned Rutgers. Okay,
I didn't, but go ahead.
Well, you said you mentioned as far as their
because they're not with Nebraska or USC. Their win total is only 5.5, Nick,
which is good for them.
But and that's important distinction.
Minnesota 4.5.
Yeah,
Phillips should have left.
Yeah, the SP Plus number having them be basically the toughest draw up until Ohio State. You see teams elevating their profile is what I'm getting at, and even the Marylands of the world, the Rutgers of the world, become, even on a day that maybe their win total doesn't match the type of team that they are, they're going to be tough outs. So there's literally no weakness, maybe other than Northwestern. Although what we saw David Braun pull off last year was pretty impressive. So this is what we're going to see in the next 2 years is programs like Northwestern, programs like Rutgers, programs like Illinois. Where do they go from there? Purdue, where do they go from the new look? Because we know that it's either sink or swim. But I think at the very least, those programs they're going to present some resistance. So not only the teams that you're bringing in, but I think as everybody's trying to elevate themselves into a wide open Big Ten, it makes for a very tough Saturday. So I think 8-4 is extremely respectable. in the new look Big Ten.
I mean, this year, if Nebraska was 8-4, would you be good?
Absolutely, I would be.
So I got to see some spring before I'm ever going to dabble in any of a win total. The most important win total for Nebraska is 6.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get to 6. Now, if you get to 7, you get to 8. Remember, Nebraska's win total has pretty much been locked to go under.
Yeah.
And I know a lot has to do with the schedule, is why it's 7.5. But I think 8-4 is going to be acceptable in the Big Ten. Now, it's not going to be acceptable in Columbus or Ann Arbor or Eugene or really Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a school like Nebraska, 8-4, you'll take 8-4. Schedules are going to get more difficult.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see Tony Petiti is going to ramp up the difficulty of schedules in the month of November.
Yep.
Down the road, because I mean, November is the month to remember, and you make your hay and you make your movement. And he wants games where he's taking care of his television partners. So yeah, I think 8-4 is the new 9, or the new 9-3 is 8-4 in the Big 12 or the Big 10. Jesus, I got Penn State on my mind now. I got to get this off my chest. Okay,
the floor is yours.
So there were some trustees with some reps in the state of Pennsylvania that wanted to keep something quiet. They would like to name the field at Penn State after Joe Paterno.
Mm-hmm.
The Jerry Sandusky locker room.
So I'm just going to put this out there that is a bad idea. First of all, you tried to keep it quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody tipped off the media.
You did that for a reason.
They were like, huh? So have we forgotten about 2011 of Joe Paterno and Jerry Sandusky? Or is it, that's 13 years later. People will forget about that. Let's go back to honoring Joe and naming the field after Joe Paterno. Now, here's the thing. I'm not in the Penn State culture. I don't know that anybody was clamoring to rename the field in State College after Joe Paterno. I don't think somebody, James Franklin said, hey, it would help our profile if we name the field after Joe Paterno. There is no need to do that.
Right.
If you supported Coach Paterno and you love what he did to the program, probably not going to change your opinion. But you're the ones that fighting to we got to make sure that Joe Pa is always remembered at Penn State. He will be, but you have to talk about both sides.
Yes.
This was a crazy, just really, really bad idea. Trying to restore Joe Pa's image and name the field after him. Do they not know there were going to be kids playing on that field?
Right. And okay, let's talk about the profile. Let's talk about the profile for a moment.
Was that inappropriate?
No.
You.
Thank you.
It's the truth.
Thank you.
You towed the line, but you stayed right there where you should. But the profile, okay. When there are people that, let's say they don't grow up in Pennsylvania, you're recruiting, and you take them to Joe Paterno Field, and people know of Joe Paterno. Maybe some of those recruits have heard of coaches, and I've always heard my parents talk about Joe Paterno. And you bring up, I'd like to think that it's something as simple as a Google search. When you bring up Joe Paterno, it's not just flooded with one of the winningest coaches in all of college football and everything that he accomplished on the field. There is a very, very, very significant dark spot on that resume that is going to accompany anything that you see. So sure, there could be an older section of Penn State fans that feels like Joe Paterno should always be revered and should always be held into the highest regard, regardless of that, because you know what? He wasn't the one who was actually doing the crime itself. Well, that's debatable too for what you did know and what you reported. But
because they never brought back the statue, right?
No.
They removed the statue.
The statue,
and it's never come back.
and I've heard
Much
it's
like Saddam's
somewhere.
statue, it's gone.
It's basically somewhere that nobody knows the actual location of. They've hid it. So maybe the board of trustees are also thinking about the right time to bring the statue back up there too.
Get a bobblehead.
But so tell me how that helps your profile when kids are able to be a little bit more inundated of Joe Paterno as they know him, as opposed to how we knew him.
Yeah,
that's not a good thing.
I mean, you can't Google them. We're past. When kids that are playing at Penn State now were 7 years old, even
Ironic.
younger.
Mm-hmm.
But
even going forward, like a decade from now,
for the diehard fans, I mean, Joe Pa can do no wrong,
right? And this was not his fault.
The smart fans can tell both stories of Joe Paterno.
And when you tell the other story
of being a legendary football coach, but also somebody that allowed an assistant coach to do what he did.
Yep.
You have to tell both stories. This is such a terrible idea that how did any trustee think that this was going to get to the light of day, that they'd be able to pass this and people would be like, that's good.
Yeah, it's been enough time. He's no longer with us.
Good on newspaper reporter who got tipped off to this and started to look into it and was like, not a good idea, Penn State. Keep it moving, focus on something else. And then also to what I said, there's no clamoring. I don't think I've not heard anybody say, well, you know what, Penn State football, the way they beat Michigan and Ohio State is that they'd name the field after Joe Paterno.
That'll do it.
It's a terrible idea.
And why would you want to bring that type of negative publicity back? There are certain things
you're right. Keep it in the forefront. I mean, when the Big Ten has a scandal, they go big.
Yeah, they do.
They go big or they go home.
The part that I have a tough time understanding is there are certain things that if you let sort of time run its course, that you can revisit it. Coaches that maybe get their hands slapped for impermissible benefits or, show causes, things that, maybe the NCAA deemed, okay, that's illegal based on our guidelines. But when we're talking about,
that one's still bad.
There are certain things that they can breathe all they want. There's never
worse.
There's never going to be an appropriate time to be able to revisit that and say, hey, you know what? Enough time has passed. He's no longer with us. Now it is time to be able to honor Joe Paterno the way that these board of trustees feel like he should be honored, when I think there are unique circumstances with not only the other side of the story, of his story, but also the fact that you do hear Joe Paterno still mentioned in types of regard. Hell, I was listening.
I don't know. I haven't thought about Joe Paterno in a while.
Either.
But I'm talking about coaches like Matt Rule was on with Reese Davis and Pete Thamel just yesterday, and he mentioned Joe Paterno, something that Joe Paterno had that he learned from Joe. So I think there are football people that are always going to have their strong feelings and positive feelings for Joe Paterno, but as a society and what he is linked to, and for a guy that had the power that Joe Paterno had, that could have truly made a difference and probably spared some of the most horrific, traumatizing moments for kids. Absolutely. He decided,
which would have
not my
out.
problem. You can't just let that breathe for a while, for even 25 years, and say, hey, now I think the time is. Unfortunately, that time is never going to be appropriate.
We removed the statue, but you know what? This 100,000 seat stadium we have, let's put his name on it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Maybe we put it on the field.
Yeah.
John writes into the Equitable Bank inbox where Joe, the mortgage guy, works along with Doug.
Joe knows mortgages.
You can't name a field after Joe Paterno. I don't care if the fans still love him or not. That can't be done. And if they do it, they should be ostracized for it by everyone. This has now been squashed, but there had been meetings.
Yeah.
They actually had meetings.
Yeah.
People that
Plural.
are trustees, thought this is a good idea, and it made it more than just a conversation to, well, I wonder if this could happen.
And it's that type to me, it's that type of naive thinking that got him into this problem in the first place, where they just figured as long as they tell Jerry Sandusky that he can't come around anymore to the facilities.
I think that would be kind of difficult.
No, but back then, I'm talking about back then. It's that naive thinking even back then that you thought you could keep this on the wraps and you didn't have to really do anything about it. And this thing will just work itself out. He'll just stop doing all those bad things, and we'll just keep it like the fact that you
focus on the 3-3-5.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The 3, the 5, and the 13.
It's amazing. People that are supposedly very, very smart cannot think of the ramifications. I mean, there's the human element. That's the obvious thing of like doing the right thing. But even in trying to do what's best for the university as well, if that's what's top of your mind, that you can't think, if this thing sees the light of day, how bad this will be. And chances are it will eventually see the light of day. But you think, you know what? We can't let anybody know about this. How do people even think like that?
Usually a sign when you say it like that.
Wilson Moore, who does not think like that, is going to make his debut.
That would be an awkward introduction to the show.
Now that you bring it up, it would be.
For the first and final time.
Hold on.
Let's
hold on.
Let's try that again.
Let me dox Wilson here.
But it's true. He doesn't.
He's never been on the show.
Speaking of a guy who doesn't think like that.
All right, I'm on his LinkedIn page. Well, he's a Mizzou grad.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. He's a lot of time.
Might have some Gary Pinkel hot takes.
It might have been before his time.
I think we're good.
Yeah,
here.
it probably was.
I think we're good there. We'll pass on that question.
But reminisce about Alan Offrio.
We'll talk some Husker hoops. They take on Penn State tomorrow. Nebraska needs wins. They got 6 to go. They got 3 at home, 3 on the road. Well, 4-2 do it, and 2 of those wins are on the road. We'll try and do some math with Wilson when he joins us next. A little bit later, Matt Verzal as well. On Mornings with Sharp and Handley and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Previously on The Crossover.
We create a podcast. Yes. That where we get 2 people together who have divorced each other.
Yes.
And they talk about when they realized they wanted to divorce each other.
And how much they hate the other person. That's the key.
And just generally how it all fell apart. Dude, I mean,
It's a great idea.
it's really funny.
I don't think a podcast like this exists anywhere.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Watch out for slick spots during the morning drive Friday as overnight snow wraps up. Still could have some lingering flurries during the AM hours. Otherwise, expect mostly cloudy, breezy, and chilly conditions with highs in the low 30s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Dream Time Saving Traffic Center, the roads are pretty slick in the Omaha Metro. There's a few crashes to report. One of them's at 48th and Monroe. Another one's on 96 and Harrison. And there's one on 36 and Leavenworth. If you're headed on southbound 72nd, there is a stalled vehicle on Q. Expect slow goings on northbound JFK from Chandler to the I-80, I-480 junction. And expect slow traffic on westbound I-80 from 42nd to 72nd. Be sure to give yourself plenty of time. Buckle up and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Sometimes life throws you a curveball and you need a solution fast. A solution to help you make payroll, to save your house, to keep growing, or fund a startup, to fix a roof or other major repair. Saul's is your fast, local, confidential solution. Get the cash you need today with Saul's.
Woodhouse Lincoln lineup of Lincoln vehicles. These are 2023 Lincoln. $499 a month for 39 months, 10,500 miles per year. Come visit us in store off 114th and Giles Road or online anytime at woodhouselincoln.com. With approved credit, security deposit waived, $1,500 down payment plus first payment, and $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 2/29/2024. See dealer for details.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Put your coffee department in good hands with Host Coffee Service, providing direct delivery and loaned coffee equipment with service programs. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. RAMP.com/sports.
At Union Bank, people don't have your money. Your money has people. First home people, investment people, people who answer the phone and your chats, dream car people, dream retirement people, driving your dream car in your dream retirement people, small business people, credit card people, and all the other people you need. At Union Bank, our people help you do more than you dreamed possible. So stop in and say hello. We can't wait to see you. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
It's a monster game at Baxter Arena Saturday night for Omaha men's basketball as they take on the rivals from up north, South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits are in town to take on the Mavs, and the Summit League race is heating up. Join us for all the play-by-play action beginning at 6:30 with a pregame show, 7 o'clock tip-off on News Talk 1290 Quill for Omaha and South Dakota State.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Give him the full intro.
We welcome in Wilson Moore from the Omaha World Herald, proud Mizzou Tiger. Welcome, and welcome to your debut with us here on 1520 The Zone.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Glad to be here.
All right, let's talk about Mizzou. How was the experience down in Columbia?
Oh, it was great. Great. Wouldn't trade it for anything.
All right, how come Mizzou, and I thought Dennis Gates was going to break through last year, how come Mizzou basketball is such in a malaise?
Yeah, I think part of it is they kind of overachieved a year ago. I think they got some contributions they weren't expecting. They really they hit the lottery in the portal a couple times with that team, with getting veteran guys who are only going to be there for about a year. That was part of it. I think Kobe Brown, who is now either with Los Angeles Clippers or playing in the G League, I don't think anyone was expecting him to turn to the superstar he did. So I think part of it is last year just overachieving, and then they couldn't do the same thing this year. They didn't strike gold in the portal the way they did a year ago. So it's kind of a transitional season. They've got a good recruiting class coming in each of the next 2 years. So I think if you're looking at Mizzou, you got to look at it as more of a long-term process. But I think a year ago kind of raised everyone's expectations to a level that maybe they shouldn't have been for only year two of the Dennis Gates era.
Now, the ultimate Mizzou test here for you, if Nebraska does make it to Omaha for the NCAA tournament and likely Kansas is here too, will you write some slants against Kansas as well as your write up against Nebraska?
Oh, I think for a couple days I could put it behind me.
Okay.
It's got to compartmentalize.
Okay, that's you're professional.
The
That's
youngins
good.
don't have the same hate as the olds did when I was in
That's
school.
true. Mizzou never really played Kansas when I was there.
I guess that's a good point.
Hey, despite the race to stay in the tournament and to lock up a berth, what is, with 6 games to go, Wilson, the most interesting part of this team? What's the most interesting story surrounding Nebraska basketball right now?
Well, I think it's hard to talk about this team without mentioning the weird dichotomy of how good it is at Pinnacle Bank Arena versus how bad it is on the road. They're, I think, 16-1, 17-1 at home. In Big Ten play, they're 0-7 on the road. It's just one of those things that doesn't make a lot of sense. You think about the scene from Hoosiers. Basket's still 10 feet high wherever they are. This is a team that is just not the same away from home. And looking at those last 6 games, that's what's going to determine whether or not they're able to stay in the NCAA tournament field, whether they're able to get off the bubble and not be sweating out what's going to happen on Selection Sunday. It's really hard, maybe impossible to make the field by going 0-10 on the road. They've got 3 more chances at that, and that will go a long way in determining how whether they're playing that first weekend of the tournament or not.
You've broken this down. What can Nebraska get in the NCAA tournament without winning a game on the road? And if you say no, is it just 1? Is it 2? What's the math? You think based on history?
Based on history, I would say no, just because in the 68 team field era, no one's done that. Now, it does create an interesting setup because most teams that didn't win a game on the road were not as good as Nebraska at home. Generally, if you're going 0-10 on the road, you're not going 10-0, 9-1 at home.
Mm-hmm.
At home. So I think there would be a path for Nebraska if they go, in the extreme scenario of 10-0 at home, 0-10 on the road. It would probably take a win or 2 in Minneapolis in the Big Ten tournament as well. I think there's a path, but just based on recent history, that's definitely not a road Nebraska wants to go down. I think it would be unlikely just based on the totality of everything, what we have seen, the committee value over the past 13 years.
Wilson, this team has been kind of fighting. It just dinged up a little bit, as I'm sure a lot of college basketball teams are right now. But when you think of the timing of this week off, getting ready for that final stretch run up to the Big Ten tournament, what do you anticipate to see tomorrow with this group and, how that week has maybe impacted them?
I think the week came at a really good time. I think anyone we spoke to, in the days leading up or after the Michigan games, that whether that be Fred Hoiberg or Josiah Alec, whoever said, "Yeah, this is a banged up team," as every team is at this point. No college basketball team is completely healthy in mid-February. So I think it came at a good time. I think they'll be refreshed as far as the more nuts and bolts of what we're going to see. I think we see more of the bigger lineup that started the game at Northwestern and against Michigan, where Jamarcus Lawrence comes off the bench, Bryce Williams plays point guard, and Josiah Alec, Jawan Gary, and Rink Master all on the floor together. That worked to kind of mixed results against Northwestern. I think Fred Hoiberg was happy with the way, with the energy that group brought against Michigan. I think we see it again.
Wilson Moore from the Omaha World Herald joining us. Nebraska takes on Penn State tomorrow at 11 at Pinnacle Bank Arena. What's the most uncomfortable part of this matchup against a team that at times can play a really disjointed brand of physical basketball? What in your opinion, is like the one part that you would go, Penn State doesn't have a winning record, but...
Penn State doesn't have a winning record, but they've been a lot better in the last, month or two than they were at the beginning of the season. And I think the big matchup that favors Penn State and that Nebraska is going to need to keep under control to stay competitive will be turnovers. Penn State is a team that gets after it. It's a team that will turn over its opponents. It likes to take advantage of that. Nebraska has had some issues with that. Fred Hoiberg has said it until he said all year. Nebraska's keys to winning are avoiding turnovers and getting rebounds. And when they do both of those things, they generally win. When they do neither, they generally lose. And Penn State is a team that really excels at forcing you to turn the ball over. And I think to win against a kind of frisky, underdog Penn State team, Nebraska has to avoid that.
And not necessarily just for tomorrow's game, but here in the next week for Nebraska to have success. If I were to tell you to pick between the two on their offensive presence, who is more important to get out to a quicker start? Is it Rink Mass or is it Keisei Tominaga?
I would say it's Rink Mass because I think he's a guy who Nebraska really needs to be their rock. Keisei, you know what you're getting. This is his third year with the program. You you know that when he steps into the gym, there will be days he's not completely on. There will be days he is on fire. I think that's his MO, and Nebraska has learned to accept that in the same way they'll accept, him occasionally pulling up and missing a three from the logo because they know he can hit those. There's real ebbs and flows in Tominaga's game. Mast needs to be consistent. He's the guy they brought in for consistency. As a veteran guy, it's his fifth year of college basketball. The presence he provides is just necessary every game, especially in a game that Tominaga isn't on. If Tominaga and CJ Wilcher aren't making 3-pointers, Mast has to be the guy, along with Alec and Gary, kind of setting the tone down low, banging bodies, getting rebounds, and just doing everything under the basket.
What's your thoughts on they changed the lineup a couple of games ago? What's your thoughts on the current lineup?
Yeah, I think it makes sense for what they're trying to do. Bryce Williams entered the season having never really played point guard. He's done a lot of that this year, to the point that I think he's comfortable being the starting point guard, running things with that lineup. I think it gives them a lot more physicality. And this is a team that's gotten beaten under the boards, that's given up a lot of rebounds this season, and that does that lineup at least tries to address it. You get three, in theory, quality rebounders out there with Gary, Alec, and Mast, and it moves Jamarcus Lawrence to coming off the bench, which is an area he's seemed a little more comfortable in the past two games. He told Hoiberg he liked coming off the bench. He liked the kind of the perspective it gave him. So I think they've only done it twice. They're 1-1 in those games, but I think it's been beneficial.
You mentioned Jamarcus Lawrence and kind of looking at the bench in a different view now too, but Sam Hoiberg still, providing a pretty good spark off the bench. When you look at his role, is that one that you continue to feel like it evolves, or from basically what we've seen from Sam Hoiberg, is that just kind of what you expect right now, especially when it comes to the offensive production?
For Hoiberg?
Yeah, for Sam Hoiberg, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the kind of ideal sort of guy coming off the bench. He's not he's not a perfectly well-rounded player, but he has a skill set, and he is good at providing those skill sets. When he's got an open three, he knocks it down. He's a good perimeter defender. He's only 6'1", so you can't put him on like a 6'7" guy. I'll have trouble with that. But like we saw him play real well against Tyson Walker when Michigan State was in town, and he brings energy, and that's big. Every team has those days where you're flat, and Sam Hoiberg is a guy who kind of sparks that. I think Ohio State is a good example of that. He came off the bench and made 2 or 3 big hustle plays and kind of got things going. So I think he's a role player. He understands his role, and I think that's a good skill set coming off the bench.
What is this is a roster that gives you some options. Just talking about the starting lineup, and he played well against Michigan. You alluded to it. The matchup was really good for Josiah Alec. Wilson, a realistic expectation night after night in the final 6 games of the regular season for Josiah Alec would be what?
I think it would be getting rebounds, providing energy, playing defense will be the big things. Scoring is a bit more matchup based. Michigan, Iowa, even though Nebraska did not play well as a team, I think he led the team in scoring. But he came to Nebraska for his last season of college to be a leader, to be get someone who brought some grit and some muscle, and I think those are the things. Putting aside scoring, what he needs to provide on a nightly basis.
Yeah. Hey, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll talk down the road. Enjoy tomorrow morning at PBA with Penn State. Enjoy your work, and welcome to Nebraska.
Thanks. Appreciate you guys having me.
That's Wilson Moore, covers Nebraska. He's just didn't pop up yesterday.
Yeah.
Actually met Wilson back when they gave him a little football duty back in September. So Nebraska has Penn State tomorrow. I've done. Everybody wants to do the math. Okay, Nebraska needs to look like an NCAA team.
Yep,
and they're in a situation like you're watching games now. Northwestern didn't get knocked out of the tournament last night, but that was not the most ideal loss.
No.
And all of a sudden you go, whoa, Rutgers has won 4 in a row, and Steve Peichel is all of a sudden woken up, and they're playing great defense. I mean, just like Nebraska is going to have against Penn State, those teams are a pain in the butt to play because they're unorthodox, they're physical, they complain about every single call. You would think that Lisa Bluter was coaching. Okay.
Well, remember Jeremiah Williams is back. He wasn't playing when Nebraska played them on the road too.
But it's just they're a tough team to play, not because of the talent they have, just because of the way that they play. So I think the game will be very disjointed. It's an early start. What is the crowd going to be like?
Makes me kind of nervous.
But this is where Nebraska, you need to block all that out. If you're an NCAA tournament team, you take care of business. I don't care if you win by 2, you win by 15, whatever.
Just
you got to
go
win. Because from here on out, every time that Nebraska loses, that's a bad loss.
Yeah.
That's they're on the bubble or they're on the wrong side of the bubble. You have to live with that. This program hasn't had to deal with that for a long time, where every game means that if you lose, and even if it's like, oh, man, we went to Assembly Hall and IU hit a bucket at the buzzer, that's a bad loss because look at the net ranking of Indiana, which will be a road game coming up. Nebraska's got 3 left on the road. They got to win 2. I think if they go 4-2, they're in a good spot, but 2 of those got to be on the road.
Agreed. Totally agree.
Rutgers, Minnesota are the 2 most difficult games, in my opinion, remaining.
Yeah.
Minnesota last night impressed the heck out of me, not just with my wallet, but also how I saw them play.
They covered.
They're 21-3 against the spread this year.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a nugget.
I know you guys aren't really big gamblers, but if you're into that, they're 21-3 against the spread. Last night, Dawson Garcia was a dude. They battled with Purdue. They came out of the locker room and they were going at Purdue in West Lafayette, and then Edie kind of took over and Purdue won, but it wasn't like they blew them out.
Right.
Minnesota's played so much better. That game in a couple of Sundays is going to be a difficult game, but I got Rutgers, Minnesota, the 2 most difficult. But I think if they go 4-2 and 2 of those are on the road, even if you go, oh, that's a bad loss. You just said that, jabroni guy. I think you're in a good spot.
Yeah. Rutgers with Williams back, they've been a lot better too. But this is where I'd say if you bring up Minnesota, and I think that's a great example. If you're able to, let's say you win tomorrow, get that first victory, that Big Ten road victory at Indiana. If you were to lose to Minnesota at home, but then you're able to, again, follow it up with the win at Ohio State, followed up with a win at Michigan, and I know Rutgers is in between those games too. Basically what I'm getting at is if somehow you're able to get all 3 road games, and I know that's a big ask because they haven't done one of them, that to me also kind of gives you a little bit of leeway when it comes to maybe dropping one at home because you've established that. You've been very good at home. The one thing that's weighing down this resume right now for Nebraska, or as you mentioned, every loss would be a bad loss. But the one thing that they're missing more than anything is having at least some conference road victories. If you can get those in this stretch there, that I think sort of completes Nebraska's resume to a point that you feel a lot better about them going into Minneapolis for the Big Ten tournament.
So if I say 4-2, they're 21-10, but I am not overlooking Minneapolis. You can't go, if you want to be considered an NCAA tournament team, you can't go to Minneapolis and go 1 in the queue.
I agree.
You got to do some things.
You win a game in Minneapolis, if that gets you to 22, then you're probably in the tournament, which means then you're playing on Friday because I don't think Nebraska's not going to get in the top 4. But they'll play on Thursday. If you get to Friday, you're in the tournament. Okay, so because you went into the Big Ten tournament probably as a 5 or a 6 seed.
Right.
Go 4-2. 4-2, you're in the tournament, but you got to win on the road.
I think you need at least two road wins to feel
that's what I'm saying.
Good. But if you can get 3, then I think, and I know that's all they have left on the road. If you can get 3, I think you allow yourself, even if you were to slip at home, that you have that to fall back on.
You guys make me nervous for tomorrow, and I feel like this is how it's going to be up until selection.
No, I mean,
Sunday.
hey, they're a team with flaws. They're going to play tight games.
Yeah,
it's not. When I say they're an NCAA tournament team, which I have said they're in the tournament, the only way they could play themselves out, I'm not putting them I mean, when I say they're a 10 or 11 seed, they're on the back end of the 68 teams in college basketball.
Right.
They need to help just that way. They're a team that has flaws that at home they find a way. On the road, they need to find energy and to hold on to the damn basketball. And they might find success. At Rutgers, Minnesota home games, do not overlook those.
Yep.
And don't overlook tomorrow. That's an 11 a.m. Tip-off. Again, Creighton and Butler play at 11:30 against Bully Bowl, the Butler Bulldogs.
And then you get a break and you can watch.
And the Bulldog will be there.
Night.
He was dressed up the other night when they were playing Marquette.
That's a great mascot.
Yes.
It is.
That's a mascot that drives.
One of the best names, too.
Mm-hmm.
It's intimidating. You're not going to want to go toe-to-toe with Bully. It's better than Uga.
Looks like a happy Bulldog.
Better than Uga.
What Bulldog is not happy?
Yeah.
Bulldogs are great.
Yeah.
Bulldogs are misunderstood.
Great. Why are they misunderstood?
Because everybody thinks like, they're high maintenance and stuff, And
well,
they probably are.
You have to clean the face a little bit. You have to clean the ruffles.
The snout.
Like a human.
But my gosh, they're just, it makes you even, I think.
Then why didn't you get one?
They're high maintenance, Gary.
We should get one for the zone.
We like a bigger dog. We like our dog at least 50 pounds plus.
Size king.
If I had a 50-pound bulldog, actually, that would be a lot of fun.
The size matters?
Size does matter, Gary. I don't know if you know this or not.
Matt Berzal, who has shrunk. He's going to join us in the next hour on Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Omaha's most listened to all sports radio station. Again and again and again. 1620 The Zone.
When it comes to concrete repair, Everlevel has some serious game. Coach Greg McDermott here to coach you on why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. They've got the fundamentals to fix your cracked and uneven concrete, and their products will give you the best defense against future damage. It's a fraction of the price compared to replacement, and their solutions come with a long-term transferable warranty. Working with Everlevel is a slam dunk. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today for your free inspection.
You can find pizza anywhere. But when you want pizza pie piled high with more toppings, that's when you come to my place, Godfather's Pizza. For a limited time, get your hands on 2 of my large one-topping pizzas. Get pepperoni, beef, black olives, you choose. All this food for only $30. Feed your whole mob without breaking the bank. Hey, it's an offer you can't refuse. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Velocity Clinical Research in Omaha frequently conducts clinical trials for a broad range of investigational treatments. Typical studies involve medications for high cholesterol, diabetes, infectious diseases, and others. They also perform vaccine studies for people of all ages, conducting innovative research that has a positive impact on lives. Click for current trials at velocityclinicaltrials.com. More trials are launching in March. Compensation for study-related time and travel. Find out more at velocityclinicaltrials.com.
Woodhouse Hyundai offers a streamlined car buying experience tailored to you. With the most versatile lineup of sedans and SUVs like the Hyundai Elantra or Santa Fe. Plus, your choice of standard engines, plug-in hybrid, or fully electric vehicles. And when you shop Woodhouse Hyundai, you can rest easy with Hyundai Shopper Assurance, America's best 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Start your deal online at woodhousehyundai.com today. Browse our inventory, personalize your payments, apply for financing, and more. Convenience delivered every time. This is Woodhouse Hyundai. Right now, lease the 2024 Hyundai Kona SE for $199 per month for 36 months and 10,000 miles per year. With approved credit, tax, title, license extra. First payment $2,999 down plus $299 doc fee due at signing. Offer expires 2/29/24. See dealer for details.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-313-6688. That's 800-313-6688.
The Zone Hotline is powered by 42 Degrees, The Source, by your mom's house.
Listen to the Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jays Shoot Around and Overtime shows, the Creighton men's basketball pregame and postgame shows on 1620 The Zone. The Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jays Shoot Around and Overtime shows are also presented by Union Bank and Trust. Hear the breakdown and coverage about your top-ranked Creighton men's basketball team before and after each game, exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone, the 1620 The Zone mobile app, and 1620thezone.com.
1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, NBA All-Star Game this weekend. It's in Indianapolis. You've flown through Indianapolis recently.
You play basketball there.
Yeah, they've got a court down in the airport. You know what? That's what they should do with the expanded Epley.
Yep.
You got to kill some time. They don't have a Delta club or anything like that. You should be able to shoot some hoops.
Yep, get a hoop. That'd be nice.
I mean,
great idea.
I mean, not everybody wants to get a Scooter's coffee and a piece of Godfather's pizza while you wait for your Southwest flight.
Hey,
Why not be able to go shoot some hoops?
Get a beer, crackies. Come on now.
Well, I'm usually not on that side. Now there is a bar on that side.
There is,
but I'm not over because that's what's that? What airlines are out of that side? I'm usually on the left side of
that's what we were
terminal.
Southwest,
Shout
and
out
I
Southwest.
think American. It's either Southwest American or Southwest and United. I think it's Southwest and American.
So
I think United and Delta.
So NBA All-Star Game this weekend in Indianapolis. The 3-point contest. We'll be back. My money's on Dame Lillard.
Wemby's and stuff, so I'll be watching that.
You got the slam dunk. Matt McClung tries to win back-to-back, which would put him in rare air. He's no Spud Webb or Nate Robinson.
Or Brent Barry.
Nate Robinson won back-to-back.
Yep.
Who did
Jordan-
Steph Curry want to challenge in the 3-point contest? That's
Sabrina.
That's right. Is that happening?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have one of the things I've always said that I was unable to do, I'd like to do on a 10-foot rim. I'd like to be able to dunk a basketball. Now, we all, when we're thinking about being an NBA star
Be like
as
Tom
a little
Chambers?
kid, hey, I
Mark Jackson?
wanted to dunk a basketball. So, of course, you find that 6-foot rim and you just destroy it.
Yeah, the elevator in, we lower it to your liking.
You try and do one of the greatest dunks of all time in Pippen in the playoffs over Patrick Ewing.
Did you do the fight afterwards too, just to get the full?
I did not. I did not.
You recreate that.
Or recreate some of Vince Carter's dunks.
Oh, good luck doing that.
Hey, he jumped over a center in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Some people jump over like a Kia.
Yes.
Some people
Blake
jump
Griffin.
over other people. He jumped over an actual center in the Olympics.
Mm-hmm.
Vince Carter, just unbelievable. But I think like Pippen's dunk over Patrick Ewing was like nasty.
Game 3, 1994.
There are like as a kid growing up, I remember kind of rocking the baby at Julius Erving. Of course, Jordan going the length of the floor at the Chicago Stadium and dunking it. And then another ferocious dunker was Dominique Wilkins.
Yes, with the windmill.
Yeah.
Now
they're trying to bring back the dunk contest. I don't know.
There's too many props.
It's tough because dunking is not as
especially like high school.
The corner pocket three.
Was in the state of Nebraska when I was growing up, and we'd go to a varsity Millard South game, and TJ Pugh for Creighton Prep was doing a drop step dunk. Like, oh my God, did we just witness that? Like, it was so rare. Now it's like a layup anymore. So like that's why I think the dunking has evolved. You didn't mention one though. I'm kind of upset.
All right,
because it was probably one of the most obscure Boston Celtics ever, but it brought the Reebok pump.
John Bagley?
No, D Brown. D Brown, where he blindfolds himself with his arm and then
remember it well.
But he pumps the shoe before he does it. It was like the best marketing ploy ever for Reebok pump. And D Brown really went on to do nothing.
I think I pulled. I may have ripped my shoulder out of my arm and not known it because I tried to do the what do you call it? No, the Lister Blister by Sean Kemp.
Yes.
You know how Sean Kemp would wind up with just the sheer disrespect.
You attempted that?
Yeah,
Kevin Calabros all on that?
Hey, there was a time where I wanted to be Sean Kemp, not the off-the-court Sean Kemp.
I mean, he had fun.
I mean, it.
He did. There's probably someone who aspired to be Sean Kemp off the floor.
No, I know you don't. No, you don't.
There's a former Spur that
No, you
tried.
don't.
Yeah.
Adam makes a good point here, and I absolutely agree with him. Players are so much more athletic now than they were 20 to 30 years ago. It's taken the luster off the dunk contest.
Yeah.
Look at high schools. When I was in school in the 90s, hardly anyone could dunk it. Now it seems like a lot of kids can dunk it.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. We would see. I could maybe count on one hand.
There you go, Gary.
This is the Tomahawk Jam.
Yeah. That was in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Alton Lister never recovered.
I could maybe count on one hand my freshman and sophomore year when I went and watched varsity basketball games of people that Millard South played that a guy could dunk. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, he's absolutely right. It was a big deal when someone would dunk. I got dunked on. Wilson Thomas dunked on me. It intimidated the absolute crap out of me. I think I told you guys a story where Randy Stella literally jumped over my buddy's head who was trying to take a charge, and he dunked at Benson. That was cool. The problem is, though, I can remember just about every dunk either I was a part of or I witnessed because it was that rare.
But you've been posterized.
Well,
That's
okay,
kinda
so
cool.
I wasn't posterized necessarily. I tried to box him out, and he got positioned, and he tip dunked.
Watch college basketball players warm up these days. You remember a couple of years ago, they got rid of the rule. If you dunked during warmups, it was a technical foul.
Yeah.
Now they let them dunk. And there will be some teams that when they first come on the floor, the first trip through the layup line everybody will try and dunk it.
Yeah.
But now it's like shooting mid-range jump shots or shooting threes. And you don't see as many guys, at least this is my observation this year, that during warmups will go and dunk it. I don't know. It's just
It used to be a major flex.
The most exciting play in basketball may not be the dunk anymore.
I think you're right.
Unless it's by somebody that's the size of Spud Webb.
Yeah, if it's a very, very slight individual that's like 5'5", 5'6", 5'7", that's doing that, then yeah, that's something. But anymore, yeah, it's just like a layup. People are bigger. He's right. People are bigger. They're more athletic. It's something that I think now you just kind of dismiss. But back when, again, in the 90s, that was we couldn't believe what we were watching. Like, how does he get up in the air and put the ball down in a vertical motion like that? It just doesn't make any sense.
Makes me want to go down a YouTube rabbit hole.
It makes zero sense.
You might see on YouTube the times where I jumped off a ladder to dunk it, or brought a chair out to jump off the chair and dunk it.
Can I tell you guys?
And had my buddies film me just from the waist up.
I'm gonna tell you guys I just want you to know this is a little painful. When I tell this story, it'll be really quick here. But speaking of those elevator rims that you bring down to like 8 feet or 7 feet. So we were playing in a driveway, and this was a game of 21, and I think we had it down to 8 feet. So it was somewhat challenging. And I was like a freshman in high school. A buddy of ours, he went up to dunk it, and the clips that hold the net. He got his front tooth stuck into it.
Oh,
he came down and it I've never heard someone scream like that in my life. And it completely ripped his front 2 teeth right out as he came down.
He didn't make the dunk either, did he?
I don't think he did. No,
Yeah.
no. I think it hit off the buckle and went flying into like the neighbor's yard. That was the least of our concern.
Hey,
though.
whatever
It was
happened
rough.
to the guy that was viral? And I think he was here in Omaha that would drive around neighborhoods that still had a basketball hoop.
Yeah.
And he'd stop his car in the street and he'd get out. He had a basketball and he would go and he would dunk on their basketball hoop.
Yeah, I remember
We need
that.
some more of that, especially now with TikTok.
No, what we need is more people to have more basketball hoops, either
Yeah.
attached to the garage or in their driveway.
My next door neighbor does.
It's becoming fewer and fewer.
Yep. They are. And you just, you can always tell the first really nice day because you can hear the basketball being dribbled outside. Someone's playing in their driveway. I don't hear that as much. You're right. I don't know. Why don't we? Why are people neglecting the driveway hoop?
Because there's a lot more kids that would not want to do anything in their driveway and do stuff inside.
Sadly true.
Also, then you try and go down to your neighborhood to shoot hoops and there's no nets. Even the chains are gone.
That is.
Yeah,
I've refused to shoot at a basketball court or hoop that has no nets.
People take the chains and they go to Saul's and they want to turn it in and make some money.
Did you see those on Tuesday?
Nope, but I saw a lot of stuff. All right, 9:04. Mornings with Sharp and Handley at 1620 The Zone.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Dream Time Saving Traffic Center. No new accidents to report. There's still one off of eastbound I-680 at 30th. Also one on westbound 96 in Harrison. And one on southbound 48th in Monroe. Slow traffic's reported on eastbound Dodge from Regency Parkway to 72nd. And slow goings happening on West Center Road from 92nd to 168th. Remember that the roads are still slick, so give yourself extra space. Be patient. Buckle up and drive safe out there. I'm Joey Colbert.
This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Love Languages. Presented by Fernando's. For spending quality time.
Let's go out and get tacos.
Come and feel the love at Fernando's, 75th and Pacific, 114th and Dodge, and FernandosOmaha.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems. Listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
If you're having problems in the bedroom, talking about it is the last thing you want to do. Same goes for hair loss, anxiety, or even depression. That's where HIMS comes in. Through HIMS, you don't have to talk about it. You can do something about it. Just go to hims.com/start, where you can find a variety of potential solutions for the problems men face every day and save up to 95% on generic alternatives. The entire process is 100% online, making it incredibly simple, straightforward, and above all, private. If prescribed, treatments made using clinically proven ingredients are shipped directly to your door in low-key packaging. So if you're experiencing ED, hair loss, anxiety, or problems with your general health, you don't have to go to the doctor, the pharmacy, or spend all day talking about it. Just go to hims.com/start and do something about it. Get started today at hims.com/start. That's HIMS.com/START.
Host is roasting every morning. Host is roasting every day.
Since 1972, family-owned and locally roasted Host Coffee Service has been roasting the finest coffee for businesses and restaurants. If you're ready to change to a better coffee provider, it's time for Host Coffee.
Omaha's best coffee since 1972. Host Coffee is always roasting something good for you.
Listen to the Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jays Shoot Around and Overtime shows, the Creighton men's basketball pregame and postgame shows on 1620 The Zone. The Woodhouse Auto Family Blue Jays Shoot Around and Overtime shows are also presented by Union Bank and Trust. Hear the breakdown and coverage about your top-ranked Creighton men's basketball team before and after each game, exclusively on your home for the Creighton Blue Jays. 1620 The Zone, the 1620 The Zone mobile app, and 1620thezone.com.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, welcome back in.
We think.
Yeah, we had a little power surge here at the radio station.
It's not exactly severe weather.
Are we getting a cyber attack right now?
Well, it coincided with something fell off our roof.
Oh.
So we had a little power surge here right before we came back on air where all the lights went out and the power flickered, and now our televisions will be another 2 weeks before the reset. But we're with you. We're on the air. We're okay.
Again, we think.
And we're on the stream.
That's good.
Oh, that's true. I guess there is always that.
All right. If you can't hear us, let us know.
And don't call if you're past 160.
You always get that.
We know this already.
We've all been through the the little flick of like the power surge quick one. That was like a repeater.
It's like Game 3 of the World Series in 1989 without the quaking.
So College Football 25 is
yes
coming out. So you're going to get that next gen console. Going to spend all night playing College Football 25, and then you're going to get screwed because there's going to be an alert that comes up on your game system that's going to tell you got to pay an additional $19.99 because your freshman quarterback that you're playing that's running the triple option is now in the portal and you got to keep him. And you're going to be like, this is real life.
How awesome
This
would
is
that
awesome.
be? That would be great.
Why'd you spend $130 to EA Sports?
Yeah, what is this that keeps coming out of our account? Oh, that'd be amazing.
But what if Shedeur Sanders is on the cover?
I think he could be I think that could be a possibility.
Oh.
So there's a lot of people that are pushing for Saban to be on the cover.
Okay,
but
yeah.
they got to sell some games. I
Yep.
don't know if the young people will appreciate us old people. But what if Shedeur Sanders was on the cover of College Football 25? Would that affect you buying it?
Nebraska fans, yep.
Me, not one bit.
I
Would it
wouldn't care.
surprise anybody?
No. I almost kind of expect it.
Because he's coming into this year, almost recognizable players in college football, unless they go with somebody past, like a Jaden Daniels, or they do go with Nick Saban, or what if they go with Dion on the cover of College Football 25?
Oh, yeah. Let's go with a sub 500 coach.
I mean, at least it's not Paterno, but
Or is it Dion? Is it like a split thing of like Dion as a coach and then Dion as his time as Florida State as a player?
I don't know. Do we know for sure if the players' names are actually going to be in the game?
You mean he won't be QB number 2?
There hasn't been anything definitive
not be
on that,
using
but
him.
I thought that's what it was trending. QB number 2. What about Adrian? No. No. I thought that was the whole idea. Was now you've kind of cleared the way that you can actually have.
But no one ever says like for sure.
No.
I'm set. I'm gonna get running the triple option again. I'll be very, very happy.
Same.
I'll be back. My thumbs are gonna be back going to work.
It's going to take me a while, guys. It's been last time I played any video games. I think I ended like playing a lot of Tiger Woods in Madden. That was probably like 2012. So it's been over 10 years.
Fortnite?
No.
I jumped on the headset with the younger people.
Did you?
Yeah, man. They talk a lot of crap.
They
but,
do.
You know, Uncle Sharpie showed up, and I was like, I mean business.
Do they have like some screenshots, some video that we can reloop? I'd like to see that.
They probably do.
You're like Alvin Mack on the headset.
All of a sudden you just pop up.
I just know this. That,
It's on.
That those kids don't appreciate your mom jokes.
Good on you to keep those going. If they don't appreciate it, they need to. They need to learn the history of your mama jokes.
This guy said you're fat and you're not fat at all.
Said something about a turkey leg or you breaking your leg in turkey.
Taco
gravy came
Bell's a
out? I
Mexican
don't-
phone company. I
Said something about sleeping with your mom, and they're like, who doesn't?
Trust me, I can see the room. That ain't dad.
Matt Verzal coming up here in a little bit.
People need to know. They need to know if you're a younger
If it's
generation.
not your dad sleeping with your mom?
No, that if you're not the mama, if you don't know the mama jokes, that
Yeah.
you got to
kids
fix
do not appreciate because I was like, okay, I could be like really, really cruel. But I was like, I'll play along. And they
Yeah.
were talking smack to me. I mean,
How was their smack talking? Offensive?
had a
Did
lot
you
to-
have cooties?
No, it had a lot to do with my hairline.
Oh,
And I'm like, "Pfft, my hairline is better than Tiger Woods' new clothing line.
Yeah.
Take that, kids.
That's true. By the way.
No, they were creative, but I was like, man, do I want to really like get into the soul of this 19-year-old whippersnapper?
Oh.
You do.
So
yes, the answer is yes.
I just went with old school, and that was mom jokes. And they were like, oh,
come on,
man,
crush their soul.
man, back in the day, mom jokes really like cut people to the core.
It did. It
Now-
really did.
I don't know. Maybe moms are not as faithful as they used to be.
The pineapple on the porch would indicate.
You're saying it misses its mark because they say something that you do give your mom a joke and they're like, well, yeah. You're like, oh, come on. That's not how you're supposed to respond to that. Maybe. I don't know.
I see it as you're teaching the kids.
I think you're being too. I think you're harboring a soft generation. You're being too soft on them. You got to let them have it.
Oh,
it's the only. They got to be exposed to it somehow.
I mean,
go after the soul.
I mean, well, yeah, like I had a so. I'm trying to think of one of the jokes. Oh, your mom is so fat that she went to the beach and a whale swam up and said, "We are family." Yeah,
those were the
that
days,
didn't-
kids.
I mean, they
That's
just,
a good one.
They just didn't have anybody. Yeah, I'm probably going to HE double hockey sticks.
See you there.
You know what? If you weren't there
Mom
by
is
now,
so fat she uses Google Earth to take a selfie.
Yep, I've heard
It's a
that one.
good one. We didn't have that when I was a kid.
Your mama's so poor she went to McDonald's and they put a milkshake on Leeway.
On Leeway?
My bad.
That was that was the one. Your mama's so fat that she broke her leg and gravy came out.
Your mama's so fat. Your mama's so poor. The ducks were throwing bread at her.
See, this is what we're missing out on. Kids.
Your mama's so stupid. She got locked in a mattress store and she slept on the floor.
I remember that one.
And now they're getting in on it on the stream.
I remember that one.
Yeah. So
here we go, bringing it back.
I'm firing off these yo mama jokes to these kids playing Fortnite this past year. They didn't even resonate. They're like, so?
Yeah, see, that's the problem right there.
So my mom looks like an Ewok.
That's where you need to step it up. Calvin's got the your mama's so fat when she hauls ass, she needs to make 2 trips.
That's good. Oh, we got more. Charles, your mama's so fat that when she sat around the house, she sat around the house.
I appreciate now everybody's just firing these off.
It's great.
We want them all.
There are some that
we probably can't repeat.
Yeah, we can't repeat.
Oh,
yeah, but why doesn't this like hit to the core of kids nowadays?
I think kids just do different things to try to get at each other.
Or they really
things,
don't
too.
like their mom, so they're agreeing with you.
Your mama was so ugly, even Hello Kitty said goodbye.
These are some good new ones too that I haven't heard.
Yeah, but I would like fire these off, and these kids would be like, nothing. And then they come back with me about something, and I'd be like, oh, that
like,
might be a good giveaway. If you get the best your mama joke, you win something.
Like good burn, man. Good slam.
Hey, but you want some? You get on the headsets playing video games. There's also some inappropriate stuff that's being said that I was a little uncomfortable with.
Oh, I'm sure.
I was like, okay, I'm going to kill you. Now,
jeez.
Oh, it's like intense.
To quote John Chaney,
there were like a couple people I didn't even know who they were.
And you're like, maybe they will.
I mean, at least get to know me before you insult me.
Yeah,
that's what I always said.
Or
when
threaten
I was in
your
my
life.
dating life.
By the way, speaking of your dating life, I think this was a premature fire off of an email with it because you did clarify that you didn't want the Sean Kemp off the court life, but John says, wait, Gary, you used to want 23 kids. Who knew? I don't think he heard when you said the on the court Sean Kemp. Off the 23. Court.
I would like 23 kids that all have athletic ability where they're going to be recruited to play college sports.
23 D1 and NIL offers, and then 23 signing bonuses.
Let's be honest. I'm not responsible enough to have one. So I also like the flexibility.
You're just staring at me.
Well, who doesn't like flexibility? Oh, good night, everybody.
What the hell is
no,
going
we're still
on
on the stream.
Oh, we're still on the stream.
Oh,
Your
now
mama
we're back
jokes
on.
survived.
We're back.
They're cutting us off because of the mama jokes.
Oh, next gen survived, so we're good.
Mother Nature.
What is happening?
Mother Nature is not happy.
John!
All right.
And then I'm getting a potential spam call on my phone.
Well, if you had Apple, it'd say scam likely, and you could just
boom
blow it off.
Maybe it's the terrorists with their threats.
Excuse me?
Well, we've just had 3 power surges right now. Something's going on.
Squirrels.
Guys, I'm scared.
Terrorists?
I don't know. It seems like a Hans Gruber type takeover.
I believe the problem is we have snow that is on our roof because I keep seeing snow fall off the roof.
And it hits something.
Somebody might be up. Yeah, and it also hit something.
We've had we've had way more snow on our roof before. I don't remember this happening.
Remember how I started the show? Snow is stupid.
Yeah.
And that's the takeaway.
I guess now we're getting good examples of this right now. Man. What's next?
My favorite part of the show today is that we have brought back your mama's jokes. Thank you. Kids, you'll never understand.
Nope.
When your teacher's laughing,
or
later today, it's the radio replay.
You'll never. Kids today will never understand, or simply all this stuff is true about their mom.
Right. Which I guess I shouldn't laugh then, because then I feel for your mom.
Yeah, you should. That's her problem, not yours.
Well, it is, but I don't want to bask in I don't want to take humor and bask in the misfortunes of others.
Oh, I will. I'm a terrible person.
I don't like doing that.
At least you're honest. All right, Matt Verzal is coming next on 1620 The Zone.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone. 1620thezone.com. The Connor Happer Show.
The first time I ever did the Mel Kiper Jr. impression on TV, as though it was part of the draft. They didn't announce it as a comedic bit or anything. He says his name all the time. He does say McShay. He does say McShay, but it's not as funny as saying Todd. And they kept going, Todd. So I hear your name over and over and over, hit the D hard. Todd.
Yeah, in a way, you've like ruined all Todds. How do you feel about that?
Oh, yeah.
The Connor Happer Show, weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Watch out for slick spots during the morning drive Friday as overnight snow wraps up. Still could have some lingering flurries during the AM hours. Otherwise, expect mostly cloudy, breezy, and chilly conditions with highs in the low 30s. I'm meteorologist Sean Everson from KETV News Watch 7.
Hey, Connor. What's up? So, you're getting an Auto Express Lane certificate in less than a year?
I need to put my career in the fast lane.
And Jenny, in just 5 months, you earned a veterinary assistant certificate?
It's kind of a pet project.
JC, is that
blood? Yeah, I'll be certified as a phlebotomy tech in just 5 months.
A positive, JC. Earn a career certificate in less than a year. Get started at mccneb.edu/adults. Classes start March 7th.
This is me at MCC.
It's the most time-honored tradition to start the weekend, grabbing a cold one from a local Nebraska brewery. Let's be real here. It's cold outside, and you don't want to drink the same boring beer as those Hawkeye fans. Drink Nebraska brewed beer, cider, or seltzers instead. Each week, we're putting the spotlight on a unique Nebraska brewery with One Beer Friday. Share your brew on social media with the hashtag One Beer Friday, and you'll be entered to win a $25 gift card to a local Nebraska brewery. Nebraska is the good life with great beer. Click nebraska.beer to learn more.
If you're a fan of Chicago, witness North America's #1 Chicago tribute band, Brass Transit. Brass Transit, February 17th at the Holland Center, featuring your Omaha Symphony. This one-night-only event features the 24-year-old tribute band performing classic Chicago songs like Saturday in the Park and You're the Inspiration. Get more info at omahasymphony.org. Tickets start at just $20 and they're going fast. Get yours today. Don't miss Brass Transit, February 17th at the Holland Center.
Asante came to TurboTax after graduating from culinary school and landing a job in the hottest kitchen in town.
My hands are full all day, every day. I love it.
Asante, as your TurboTax expert, I'll make your moves count, guaranteeing 100% accurate filing and your maximum refund. Sound good?
Yes, expert.
Switch to Intuit TurboTax and make your moves count. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Don't miss this week's Zone Deal.
This week's half-off deal is Cops. Receive 2 $25 gift vouchers for just $25. Cops makes delicious pizza, fresh salads, and tasty charred wings. For the basic menu, click copspizza.com. And for the extended menu, visit them at Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, and the newly reopened 72nd and Jones locations.
Zone deals go fast. 9 a.m. Friday, 1620thezone.com.
Come on, when was the last time you had your Fernando's fix? It doesn't get any better than lunch, dinner, carry out, even catering from Fernando's. Get your Fernando's fix. 114th and Dodge, 75th and Pacific, and FernandosOmaha.com.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Good Friday morning, Verse.
Hey, boys. How's it going?
Good. People are clamoring. They want to know your thoughts on purchasing the EA Sports College Football 25 game. Yay or nay?
I personally have never been much of a gamer. So here's the thing that I do believe in, though. If you have kids that want to play football and those kind of things, buy the game because it teaches them concepts and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah,
really? Okay.
You look at it and you look at guys that really get into it, they figure out, hey, when defense plays X, my offense needs to do Y. And then when you're playing the defensive side of it, it's like, well, they lined up in this. I can change this to this blitz because I have an advantage. So, yeah.
Could this breed coaches too, perhaps? Is that what I'm getting from you?
I think what you're looking at is a lot of coaches that have grown up on that game that are currently in the league.
Okay.
Because how many times have we heard the phrase, these guys put up video game numbers?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Hey, thoughts on the Super Bowl?
I gave everybody free money, and I don't know who partook in it.
Yeah.
But I told everybody the prop bet to make. Do you remember? Did anybody listen?
Now, I wasn't here last week, so my apologies.
I know you weren't, but you should listen to your show when you're not there, Gary.
Yeah, I was. Thank you.
Well,
Matthew.
I guess I only got one guy, Thomas Kuchera. Shout out to Thomas.
Oh, yes.
But I was very specific because I thought my odds would be better and I would have lost. But I said there would be a non-quarterback throw a touchdown. I thought it would be McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yep.
So I got to drive over to Iowa and sit in a gas station and wager, and then I got to drive back.
Yep.
But we also got to cash a nice ticket. That was good.
Yes.
The Super Bowl was it was quite a breakdown in what the Chiefs are, and when you get an organization that isn't just it's willing to evolve and it's willing to change and it's willing to realize what it has, it's a dangerous organization because you have talented people, and when you get people that win, money becomes a little bit of a different thing. You'll still have some guys that just want to get their check and go away, but if you look at what they could do in that game, and they just hung around and they said KG beat them. I mean, they just stayed around until it got to the time of the game. And I was really shocked with the overtime. I hadn't known the basic outlines of the rules, but to have San Francisco 49er players say they didn't know.
Yeah.
And then to take the ball first. I mean, that's just, you've worked that long to be in that spot. And there's a paranoia to me when I coach and try to see as much as possible. And then sometimes you just get to the point where physically you can't do it, but mentally should never be the reason you can't make it. And to not have that prepared was really disheartening. But the Chiefs are a wagon, and we're all able to get and watch it.
All right. So, and with that too, he mentioned, and I say Kyle Shanahan mentioned that they discussed it with the coordinators, but it was never necessarily communicated with the players. They didn't feel like it. He said basically he didn't feel like the players needed that communicated to him in lead up to the Super Bowl. So I'm curious where you're at on that the staff knew, but the players didn't know, and he didn't feel it's important for them to know.
I think that's BS. That would hey guys, we got it under control. We've discussed it. We don't need. You got a guy from Harvard on your team.
Yep.
You don't think he might have been just able in his huge Harvard brain to calculate the statistical advantage and say, hey, we would probably want to take this first, or we want to take it second. First is a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, and if that's really your thought, you in that then need to go for it on fourth down.
Yeah,
you need
I agree.
7.
Great point.
And if your thought is we're going to take the ball first because Kansas City's defense starts, then you really need to go for it on fourth down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That would be my only logical thought is they think Kansas City's defense is gassed. Go. We're going to get a touchdown here. Then we're going to make them have to score a touchdown to continue the game. We're going to get. Then they're going to be panicky, and it'll work in our favor.
Yeah.
Okay, you're down there, and then you field goal. Right then, I was like, well, they're done because Mahomes is going to score a touchdown.
Same here.
So, but I had bets that were going to come in if they scored some more points. So I didn't mind it.
Hey, let me go in your big brain as an offensive lineman, and I'm going to call this play. So this is the play that Kansas City used that was the game winner. Even though I think Andy Reid really wanted to do a shovel pass inside of the 5-yard line, and I would have lost my mind. So the play, so you're an offensive lineman in the huddle, and this play comes in. What part of this play are you listening to? Because it tells you what to do. Tiger 12, gun trips right bunch, F shuttle.
Tiger 12.
So Tiger 12 had to be the personnel, 12 personnel, right?
Yep. And then the Tiger would be how they're aligning the 12.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I have no clue, but that would be my guess. And God forbid you just say trips right. So go ahead. Tiger 12, we have to say. Okay. I probably am not listening until the shovel part.
Okay.
And then the shovel pass determines my block.
Gotcha.
The rest of it is just for the other guys.
Gotcha. So Tiger 12, gun trips right bunch, F shuttle. Because gun trips right bunch is the formation. And then F shuttle is just for the wide receiver only.
But the shuttle would tell me like I'm looking for something that's going to cue me to the pass. And then there's probably a blocking scheme that goes with shuttle, meaning I got to go tackle on end. I got to have my guard, and there's not a slide in it where you have a protection sliding a different way, unless shuttle means slide a certain direction.
Gotcha.
Would be my college level knowledge of the game.
Verz, I want to ask you, because this just happened in our previous segment. How often did you use your mama jokes?
I didn't. Okay, so there would be some of those that would fly around.
Yeah.
And I just viewed those more as like my opportunity to just be a sniper because I didn't probably have the repertoire
that
my teammates had. So I would just have like 3-4 good ones.
Okay.
And then if I would say them, it would catch them off guard that I even knew them. So you just come in with a banger right out of the gate. You're just trying to one-hitter quitter that whole thing. And you get in and get out. Because if you got to go multiple off the top of the head, fellas in the locker room had a bunch of them. So I was not quite.
Yeah. So where this came from is I was engaged in Fortnite last summer. And with some younger kids who, man, they talk crazy. So I just thought I would drop some yo mama jokes in there, and it didn't faze them. And I was very disappointed.
Yeah. Little kids don't care.
I know, and that's disrespectful of mom.
It is.
100%. But little kid is like, what do you mean? Oops. I was like, what do you mean? My banker, the lady that gives me the money every time I ask it? You think I care about her? The lady that doesn't make me clean my room, doesn't make me do my stuff. You think I care what she says?
This is exactly how I hoped it would go.
Exactly.
Hey, I apologize to that F-bomb put through there. I tried to stop it.
It was muffled. You couldn't even tell.
Yeah. In fact, the fact that you just now said that, no one would have known. But now you got us in trouble.
I appreciate you because sometimes you treat us like you're on the McAfee show.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I agree.
Now to be on the McAfee show, or just be able to swear and say whatever.
Well, I'm working on the swear whenever part.
Yeah.
If my landlord would help me out here, we're gonna get a overflow seating bay for, like, when we have Scott football Fridays and little baseball teams or softball teams or volleyball teams that kind of take over the joint.
Mm-hmm.
I can put them in the other room, and then we can still have the dining room. But in the back of the overflow room, I'm going to have a pod studio so that I can have YouTube on there, and we can hand-mess everything.
You let it. Yeah.
Hey, quick thing. You brought up Scott. Do you know the Ziola family? Cade and Ben and their dad? Man, hey, Cade is a beast as a wrestler, man. He is the real deal.
Here's the thing with the Ziola crew. Okay? You talk, or we want a harder, Papa Ziola, he gives 2S and he'll touch a couple, and you can give them back to him. He won't want them. But the kids are raised to compete, and they're raised to not fear, and they're raised to be that guy. And it's a credit to he and his wife. Now, do I give him a hard time when he's telling the 106-pounder that he's soft as 10-ply tissue paper? Yeah, because my guy's 106 pounds and he's lost only one time out of state. I was like, well, obviously he's doing some things good, Dad. But maybe undressing him at Pisons is not what we need to do about a practice he had that he seems to do all right according to everyone else but you. But the big one, if you want to know what confidence in self is, watch the big one. Yeah. There is zero thought in his brain that he is losing anything. And he knows, I've worked for this, and I'm doing this. And that's the way it goes. The one that throws the baseball throws it hard. And when he develops, which he's a young kid, he's going to develop. He's going to pick up another pitch. He's probably going to pick up a nice changeup because he can gas it so well. Get a little movement left to right with the ball. He does. But, they're raised that way, and that's good. Mm-hmm. You should raise that. And it's not in a, oh, my son is the best. It's like, this guy thinks he's the best.
Yeah.
He hasn't worked to be the best yet. So it's pretty cool to see it. And he and I, Pops and I, give each other a lot of crap. But they're good family. They're good people. And it's good to see the boys succeeding.
Yeah. Cade is now 45-0. He's dominant 190. That's a huge pickup for Mark Manning for him to stay in state. No.
And Brian Snyder.
Yes. I can't forget about him.
Snyder's my guy from back in the day. Snyder's an old school dude.
He is. He's got a bright future.
Yeah, he does. Oh. And that guy, he just goes. He just works and he grinds, and it's awesome to see. It's cool. It's cool when you run into people from your era that are just killing it.
Yes, and haven't changed a bit from when he was in school with all of us.
No. Same dude the whole time.
Yeah. Hey, Verse, as always, I appreciate it. Have a great weekend, my friend.
God bless you. Be good.
That's Matt Verse. Follow him on Twitter at Verse51. So we're talking about the Ziola family from Scott. Scott and Waverly are locked in a battle. I mean, I guess I should have known this, but I was going through the program yesterday. Scott's won 21 state championships when Coach Hildebrand was there.
Yeah.
And they're locked in a battle with Waverly. But I've mentioned the Ziolas before, and really, really good family. But Cade, who wrestles at 190, is 45-0. And he is a dude. And then the younger one that Verse was alluding to at 106 is Ben. So state wrestling going on today. So I teased this earlier. There's a lot of Millard South, Millard West matchups tonight in the semifinals. I don't know enough about the insides, but whenever you win, people get upset. Is Millard South wrestling a villain? They're in search of their 6th state title, and they are starting to mow teams down. They're on an unbelievable run. It's not just, hey, they've won 6th. I mean, they are racking up championships in Class A. Is Millard South wrestling the new villain?
Yeah, probably, because
people get upset at Millard South for their wrestling program.
So, but are they? I mean, is there recruiting involved here too? Is this part of it?
Yeah, I don't know enough. I just know that they're really, really good. But we got a lot of Millard South, Millard West matchups,
which is interesting because Millard West not known for that.
I think Millard West wrestling is on the uptick in the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's a recent development because from the time that I was there the 2 years that it started in existence, but also when I was covering state wrestling when I was living in Columbus, Millard West they were not on the grid there. Millard North had a couple, again, not state championships, but you would probably see more representatives in the state tournament from Millard North than you would from Millard West. So that is a new development. But Millard South, the 6 in a row, you also can go back to early mid-2000s when Doug Denson was the coach there too, and they had it rolling again. So, it's been kind of a 2-decade period, sort of maybe a couple years off in here where Millard South has really owned Class A.
Doesn't it seem like we go through stretches of dynasties in state wrestling?
But it comes back to him too. Like Scott is another example of it's coming back to Scott again.
Yeah, Scott 1B, it seemed, year after
You
year
have
after
to
year.
get them when they're down.
Well, it used to be Omaha North. Remember when Curly Alexander,
Mhm.
and they had incredible wrestling at North, and they were winning championship after championship. And it's like they handed off the baton.
Yep.
And then now
Prep
Millard
would kind of get into it every now and then. And
then now Millard South is dominating. So day 2 of the state wrestling. Shout out to Kyler Lauritsen, who is from Bennington, who I think is a great football player. When it's all said and done, he might be, man, could he be a 4-time state champion in 2 sports, in wrestling and in football? Because he's a great defensive back.
Has that ever been done?
I doubt it.
That'd be pretty amazing, because especially as a freshman football player.
So his brother Cale was a 4-time state champion for Bennington, and he's taken the year off an Olympic red shirt. And then Kyler is going after his 3rd straight, and he's off to a really good start. That's a great question. I don't know if anybody has ever won 4 state football titles and 4 state wrestling titles.
Well, to win 4 state
individual
football titles is a feat on its own, but to be on as a freshman, to be on that team would also be quite the feat.
Yeah, I think Kyler's 53-0 after yesterday.
Wow.
I mean, that's a lot to wrestle in a season.
I think about it. There could be some maybe smaller classes, like maybe a Class C or even a D, that maybe has a couple athletes that might have accomplished that.
It's a small fraternity in the sport of wrestling to be a 4-time champion.
Yeah.
Also, if you are going and maybe you're with the mindset of just football and you're trying to pick people out, do not miss Tyson Terry. So Tyson Terry spent less than 2 minutes on the mat yesterday. He's a junior at Omaha North, already committed to Nebraska. He had a really, really good year on the football field. I think he's going to be a really good defensive lineman, but he is a beast in wrestling. He hasn't lost yet.
Yeah.
He's never lost in his career. I think we're up to 134 in a row. I think Tyson Terry has won 134 straight matches. And
that's insane.
Yesterday, he had one of his pins was like in 24 seconds. Jeez. Yeah, less than 2 minutes he was on the mat yesterday to do work.
Yeah. Best thing I ever saw at the high school state wrestling tournament was when Nate Budgeta was wrestling, and you knew he was already going to Iowa. Kind of similar thing.
Yeah.
He'd get on. You had to watch, but you also knew it was going to be a quick watch. It was going to be like maybe 30 seconds. And it was like, did you even break a sweat, dude?
I think Tyson, so another good football player over at Papillion La Vista, I think Logan Holtmeyer is who he's wrestling in the semifinals. And Logan's a really good offensive lineman for Papillion La Vista. All right, 9:42. We'll come back.
Like a mat drill.
Yes, and a different level
exactly
of a mat drill.
Yeah.
We'll come back with some final thoughts, get you ready for the weekend. Important day of basketball tomorrow for Nebraska, Creighton, and Omaha. Plus, we'll check in on some late tweets and some emails. And Nick's picked who's going to win the Daytona 500.
Yep.
You
don't want to miss that.
20 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Hey guys, it's Nick for Hims. Look, as guys, we like simple solutions for any kind of problem, whether they're problems that we like to talk about or ones that we like to keep private. We're always seeking that solution. And the same goes for problems in the bedroom, anxiety, depression, or if you're looking to take better care of your health in general. Through Hims, you can upgrade your daily routines with prescription treatments that can make a big difference and help you regain your confidence and help you feel like yourself again. If you want to regrow your hair, have better sex, or tackle anxiety and depression, you don't have to go to the doctor, the pharmacy, or spend all day talking about it. Just go to hims.com and do something about it. Hims is ready to help you with a wide range of health problems that are not often spoke about, but fairly common. So whether you notice it some of the time or all the time, Hims can help. And you can find that solution you're looking for. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/start. That's hims.com/start for your free online visit. HIMS.com/START.
Is your concrete cracked or uneven? Hey everyone, Coach Greg McDermott here to explain why you should choose Everlevel Concrete Repair. Many people think they need to replace broken concrete, but repairing it provides durable protection and comes at a fraction of the cost. Everlevel provides permanent repair solutions to fix your concrete and protect it against future damage, and it all comes with a long-term transferable warranty. They offer free inspections to walk you through the entire process. Call Everlevel Concrete Repair today.
Without the ones like you, who work tirelessly to keep things running, everything would suddenly stop. Hospitals, factories, schools, and power plants, they all depend on you. No matter the weather, emergency, or time of day, you're the ones who get it done. At Grainger, we're here for you with professional-grade industrial supplies. Count on real-time product availability and fast delivery. Call, clickgrainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Jordan B. Peterson, We Who Wrestle with God Tour.
If you say the truth and nothing else, you'll have an immense adventure as a consequence. You won't know what's going to happen to you, but the truth will reveal the world the way it's intended to be revealed, and the consequence for you will be that you'll have the adventure of your life.
Jordan B. Peterson, live at CHI Health Center, February 22nd. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster.com.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
A team succeeds when they work together. Banking's no different. At UBT, we're in your corner for every financial move you want to make. Your money's backed by a roster of experts who put in the work to know you and your community. So whether you're opening a savings account, buying a home, or planning your future, you always know who to turn to. Working together toward your financial goals. That's a win in our playbook. Union Bank and Trust. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
College basketball's biggest tournament is coming, and it's time to start betting like a pro with the world's largest sports book right at your fingertips. Circa Sports Iowa. It's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, tight money line splits, exceptional customer service, and more. Fund and bet like a pro anywhere, anytime. It's never been easier. Download your new bookie before all of the March action at circasports.com. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-238-7633.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, you think there'll be back-to-back Cup champions? What do you think there, Nick? The Daytona 500 coming up on Sunday?
No, Gary, that's very hard to do. It's hard to repeat in anything, and I think that also extends itself to the Daytona 500. So no.
You might be onto something because so Ryan Blaney's going to try and do it. It has not happened. Back to back.
Can I get some odds on how about where's Kyle Larson at?
So here's who I have in my final four.
Okay.
Blaney, Logano, Hamlin, Kyle Larson might be in there. I like Christopher Bell.
Is Keselowski still a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. See, all right. I got two guys that
You strike me as a Ross Chastain guy.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Okay.
You know what? Give me Kyle Larson.
So
the push all in on Kyle Larson.
So the event that will draw higher ratings, the NBA All-Star Game or the Daytona 500 in your household, it will be strictly the NBA All-Star.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Especially with kind of back to the old
The way it
uniforms
should
too,
be.
the way it should be. Yeah.
The conferences.
Yeah. Even though there won't be any defense still.
All right, his
Get off
timing
my
is always on point. Let's just finish the week with positive Phil. Hi, Phil.
Hello, gentlemen. Long time no talk.
No, I mean it's been so negative around here. Now it's
true.
we got some good things happening, so you've called in.
And Phil, your spirit animal Gary is back.
I know. I mean, that, like
Last time
they
he
say,
called.
like they say in the professional wrestling business, how can we miss you if you don't go away, right?
Yeah, it's true.
So
It's very true.
So I've been gone, and I actually am such an idiot. I was like, I'll call because they're on till 11, and then you guys said we're gonna wrap up the show, and I'm like, yeah, it's 10. So I heard you guys have a lot going on. I just wanted to say hello, let you get to the remainder of your show, and how about I'll call next week with a good take?
You know what? That works. What do you got on the docket this weekend, Phil?
What do I have? Well, hopefully Nebraska will win a basketball game.
Mm-hmm.
That would be much better than having a bad loss.
Yes. They need to get a couple of road wins. But they're all winnable.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And I had a question for you guys that I was thinking about the other day. We can't win on the road, which, it's tough in college basketball anyway. But what if, and this is a big what if every basketball arena had the exact same dimensions? Every one of them. So every time you went to a basketball arena, the depth perception was exactly the same.
Okay. I now I get what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Like
you know what I mean? Because
there's a standard model that every basketball arena had to adhere by, as far as like behind the baseline to a wall had to be a certain distance, and then from like the sideline to the next wall had to be a certain distance.
Exactly, because, Illinois, they practice on their floor, so they're used to that depth perception. So, because I don't buy into the crowd, because I was always a heel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the boos were my cheers.
Mm-hmm.
So I always look at it as, man, the crowd, why would the crowd have anything to do with it? Because if I'm playing and the crowd's pissed off at me, man, that's getting me excited.
Feels you.
So I don't think the crowd has much to do with it, maybe some, but it would be interesting if every single one had the same exact depth perception. It'd be fun to see how that rolled out.
Yeah, I'll think on that a little bit. But hey, call back next week, all right?
I'll call back. Hey, guys, have a good weekend. Good talk again.
Thank you, Phil.
Something always soothing and calming about Phil's voice and his presence.
Yeah. I smiled when
I'm at ease right now.
It's 72 degrees outside right now.
72 degrees in my head.
I can't see anything out from here, so.
Don't get triggered that they're eliminating chocolate chip ice cream.
Wait, what?
Oh, yeah. Chocolate chip ice cream's going away.
Why?
It's just not popular anymore. Cookies and cream has knocked off chocolate chip ice cream.
Jesus.
But if your mama jokes,
your mama jokes,
can bring back chocolate chip
and
ice cream.
chocolate chip ice cream. What the hell are we doing, folks?
What Phil said about it's tough to win on the road. We've seen that throughout college basketball for some teams of note. But what if Fred Hoiberg just can't win on the road? Because he is 7-44 in conference on the road.
Lord,
that's bad.
That's where you got to ask yourself, what is, other than Fred, the common denominator? What continues to show up on the road, regardless of the opponent?
The color red,
turnovers, and sometimes
lack of rebounding.
Well, when you don't have, when you're not the most athletically gifted team, you get exposed more on the road.
That's true.
So, but they don't play on the road this weekend. They play tomorrow at 11 a.m. All right, call your shot, boys. You got 3 games: 3-0, 2-1, 1-2, 0-3.
I'm going for the clean sweep. I got
1-2.
Nebraska winning 74-67. I've got Creighton winning, I also think, in the 70s. I'm going to say that one is 78-72. And I'm going to go with the Mavs in an exciting one tomorrow night in front of a good crowd.
F-bombs will be flying out of your mouth.
Oh, hell yeah, they will. SDSU, Omaha. I'll take the Mavericks to win that one. 91-85.
It's a good game.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm hoping I see.
I think Nebraska and Creighton both by double digits tomorrow. Not 30 or anything like that.
You guys on that show, on the Creighton show.
I have nothing to do with it. I just think they're going to play better because of last time.
Talking, Creighton's going to beat UConn by 40.
I actually never said anything like that.
Come on.
I thought they would lose.
The other Jimmy. I think Creighton will beat UConn by 17.
UConn's not that good.
They'll sit 2 guys and go 3-on-5 just to make
Gary, I think Creighton is better than UConn. They just haven't shown it yet.
I would get an opportunity Tuesday night.
Yeah, I got and Omaha wins. Great crowd Saturday night. If we were in town, I really would want to go.
2-1.
Who loses?
I'll let you guys figure it out.
Oh, I think I know.
2-1 this weekend.
I think I know where you stand.
All right. Welcome college baseball. Enjoy baseball. Nebraska gets going here within an hour. Yeah, in an hour. And then Creighton is in Baltimore. Have we checked the weather?
It was supposed to be 50. Let me give you an update real quick here.
Checks out. Sounds like Baltimore early in the season.
50 and gray. Although I liked Ed's reasoning behind that.
Omaha is in Jonesboro, Arkansas to take on Arkansas State, where last night they had a melee in a women's game.
Oh.
Just Google it.
Well, hang on. I'm getting the weather real quick. Can't do both
I'll
things.
Google the fight.
I don't want Maryland Park. Just give me Baltimore. It is 41 currently right now.
Ooh, 5 players, 3.
And
I don't need the video. I just need the story. Against Southern Miss.
And then it's supposed, gosh, these stupid ads. It's supposed to be a high of 45 today. Then, 37 tomorrow.
Yeah, you might have to double up. Yep.
Sunday's supposed to be back in the 40s.
Yep. So Arkansas State and Southern Miss women last night, there was a fight that happened on the floor, and it carried over to the bench. And, I mean, it's a real fight.
Yeah.
There are punches being thrown. You've got the officials. You got coaches that are trying to break it up. I mean, it got really, really nasty.
Jim Ross shows up, starts doing play-by-play.
It wasn't in Jonesboro. It was at Southern Miss, but it did involve Arkansas State. That's where Omaha basketball was. Then what happened last night? So I saw this clip this morning. You had fans that were coming out of the stands towards the bench area that wanted to get involved in the fight.
Yeah, it's like some 70s ABA stuff.
Well, I think one of the parents came down out of the stands to protect their daughter.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's, and I mean, it goes from just like a tangle up with a basketball to the bench, and then all of a sudden it's
a
the Royal
Caitlin
Rumble.
Clark effect.
Yeah, everybody was on edge last night.
Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll be back on Monday with lots to discuss at 6. For Jimmy, for Nick, I'm Gary. Live, laugh, love, and punt on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is